Chapter 129, Lu Muyan's dead. The news that Lan Si brought made the Lu clan's father and son fall into deep thought. Have you investigated the force that attempted to assassinate Yener? Lu Zhantian asked. Lan Si slid his fingertip over the rim of the teacup and after a long pause, he replied, I suspect that there are influential officials of the empire who colluded with other kingdoms' powers. After all, Lu Xiang and Hu Fei taking action against Lu Muyan meant that they should be chess pieces buried in Yanzhou kingdom by that force. Lu Mo Yu tapped his fingers irregularly on the table. Lan Si's words were exactly what they had guessed. If they followed this clue, then the Gu clan was most suspicious. Lan Si, now our main concern is when my family's Yener could safely return. Lu Mo Yu temporarily put aside the complex affairs of the kingdom. What he worried most about now was the safety of his treasured daughter. Ling Yuzin's beautiful face was filled with worries, and there was a haze in her eyes. If any misfortune befalls my daughter, your Empire Academy won't be removed from the responsibility either. After all, that person named Hu Fei is your trial instructor this time. If anything happened to her baby girl, she must make the Empire Academy pay the price. To begin with, she didn't approve of Yener going to the glacial mountain range for some trial. If it weren't that the principal found her husband to discuss the details and guaranteed Yener's safety, how could she put her daughter in that kind of danger? Lan Si also knew that this time Lu Muyan being knocked into the lava pond by Hu Fei was also the Academy's responsibility. If it weren't for Monarch Ming taking action to kill Hu Fei, he would have wanted to tear his body into thousands of pieces too. Originally, he was just left as bait for fishing, but who knew he turned out to be a scourge in the end. This was also a lesson to be learned. Don't worry. I can guarantee that Lu Muyan will be fine. With the strength of Monarch Ming, he probably already found Lu Muyan. If even then she died, then Monarch Ming needn't bother living. Despite hearing such assurance from Lan Si, the hearts of those in the Lu clan were still not at ease. Now, Ling Yuxian always carried the soul tablet, which had Lu Muyan's soul energy within it, everywhere. Only when the soul tablet was intact could they temporarily feel relieved. In a beautiful, imposing, and majestic mansion in the imperial capital, Gu Yanran played chess with Gu Yuankai in the study, when a black-clothed man suddenly appeared in the room on one knee. Gu Yuankai stared at the chess game without lifting his eyelids and asked, Is Lu Muyan really dead? The man in black replied respectfully, This subordinate has discovered what happened that day. If there's no accident, then Lu Muyan would definitely have died. Then, he revealed the news that he inquired about, and he didn't hide the fact that Monarch Ming went into the lava to search for Lu Muyan. Gu Yanran's originally gentle and pleasant temperament had already undergone earth-shaking changes. There was always a lingering haze on her face, unable to be rid of, her face was pale, and her entire person looked gloomy and depressive. Hearing that the masked man in red who rescued Lu Muyan at the auction last time disregarded his life and jumped into the lava to look for her, the jealousy in Gu Yanran's eyes appeared as if it were about to erupt. She gritted her teeth and said bitterly, That woman's just a vixen. This way of death is too easy on her. Gu Yanran wasn't reconciled. In her heart, she didn't want Lu Muyan to die like this. It wasn't pity, but instead, the hatred in her heart made her want to torture Lu Muyan to death with her own hands. Gu Yuankai placed a black chess piece on the board, his face calm, and his voice was stern, Yanran, you lost. Gu Yanran looked down at the chessboard, feeling even more annoyed. Her expression was full of grievance, Dad, daughter really can't swallow this anger. Now that her dantian was destroyed by Lu Muyan, and her entire cultivation base was useless, she would be gloated about and looked at with contempt and sympathy if she went outside. How she hated. Once she was the most dazzling pro in the freshman class of the Empire Academy. Lu Muyan was just a trash grit that chased after Qi Yi Xian. Now she also tasted what it felt like to become trash, but it also made her feel even more resentful against Lu Muyan. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, Yan Ran, that person already promised to repair your dantian after the matter's done. The loss of your cultivation base is only temporary. Lu Mu Yen is also just a touchstone for you to grow into a strong person. You shouldn't accumulate too much resentment against her, otherwise you'll definitely be troubled by heart demons in the future. Gu Yuankai was a clear-headed and rational person. He didn't agree with his daughter's endless hatred towards Lu Mu Yen. If a heart demon appeared, then it'd be exceptionally difficult in the future to advance to a high-level sword master. Gu Yanran also knew that what her dad said was truth, but the long-standing grievances had already been buried in her, so how could it be resolved? Unless she personally killed Lu Mu Yen, then could her hatred be dispelled. Dad, when that time comes, I want to massacre the Lu clan with my own hands. A ruthless look flashed in Gu Yanran's eyes. Even if Lu Mu Yen died, she'd also make the Lu clan pay the price by having their entire clan exterminated. Gu Yuankai not only didn't feel frightened by Gu Yanran's cruelty but was instead very gratified. This was right. This was the daughter he had carefully nurtured. All right. I'll let you personally exterminate the entire Lu clan when that time comes. The next day, Lu Zhantian took Lu Mou into the palace to find the emperor and the imperial teacher to settle their debts, and also personally led people to smash the Empire Academy's inscribed boards. Afterwards, the door of the Lu clan remained closed and there was a faint sound of crying that came from within. This also confirmed the news that Lu Mu Yen had died in the glacial mountain range. In addition to those who gloated and watched the good show, there were also some people who sympathized and felt sorry about it. The Lu clan's father and son did this as they wanted to let the secret forces in the dark relax their vigilance and lure the snake out of the cave. As if they would tolerate venomous snakes on the bed, spying from the darkness one. Failure to remove them wasn't only harmful to the Lu clan, but also to the entire empire. A secret room in the imperial palace. A middle-aged man in a purple robe sat on the main seat, and the Emperor Yun Tianchen and imperial teacher Yun Sang sat beneath him with respectful expressions. The man held a string of Buddhist beads in his hand. Each black bead was very smooth, and could be seen that it was caused by frequent rubbing. Lu Mu Yen is really dead? According to the current information, she should be dead. Yun Sang sighed. It was a pity for such a good seedling that was Lu Mu Yen. He originally even wanted Ruanli to focus on raising her. Yun Tianchen was silent for a while and said, I feel that Lu Mu Yen may not be dead. Hearing what the emperor said, the purple-clothed man's expressionless face displayed a bit of interest. Why do you say so? I found that the Lu clan's reaction to the news of Lu Mu Yan's death appeared normal on the surface, but there's just something that feels wrong. Yun Tianchen paused, then continued to say, I know that all the descendants of the Lu clan's main bloodline have a soul tablet. You would know whether one's dead or not by looking at the soul tablet, so whether Lu Mu Yen was dead or not after falling into the lava pool, the Lu clan would know the clearest. Coming to the imperial palace to cause trouble and smashing the Empire Academy's inscribed board, although it appeared to be venting, but based on my understanding of the Marshal and General Lu, if the Lu girl really died, then they would definitely have already done something crazy long ago, and not just touch the surface of things. Yun Sang furrowed his brows and asked, You mean to say they did it for others to see? Indeed. Let alone the Lu clan's fear of that hidden power, even our imperial family must also find the power that will secretly endanger Yanzhou Kingdom. Yun Tianchen nodded. The middle-aged man in purple chuckled lightly and his eyes that looked at Yun Tianchen carried a rare hint of admiration. Indeed. The Lu clan is indeed pretending. That old little kid Lu Zhantian already came to find this eminence too to discuss this. One I think it's a play on, how could one tolerate people snoring by their side on the bed? Also meaning, how could one tolerate others encroaching on own territory? Similar idea, how could one allow snakes to encroach their territory? Too honestly, Chinese people and their love of addressing themselves with their own titles instead of me/I to show their status like, this highness used by Ming Xiu, this monarch used by Bing Ji, now used by this person lol. I even considered this magnificence to translate but that's just too much now haha. Honestly I'm just randomly assigning a word to them now. XD after translating to sword venerable, I even considered changing to this venerable, but even when the same word is used, sometimes it might have slightly different connotations, so I left it. Plus I wasn't bothered, ha. Now, I just remembered that there's still your excellency that I haven't used. Who should I use that for next, ha? Chapter 130, The Imperial Family's Attitude. Yun Tianchen and Yun Sung looked at the purple-clothed man in surprise. That old little boy's extremely crafty, but this time the Lu clan's little girl's incident really did infuriate him. The purple-clothed man rubbed the Buddhist beads in his hand, and one could hear that he was rather close to Lu Zhantian from his tone. Yun Tianchen was recently receiving the Empress cold reception, and he deeply realized that the Lu clan's grievance this time was deep. Imperial grandfather, what do we need to do as the imperial family? The relationship between he and Lu Moz was already cold to begin with in the recent 2 years. If they really fought because of Lu Muyan's situation, then he was afraid that she'd break everything off with him. Do nothing for the time being. Let's talk about it when the Lu clan's little girl returns. The purple-clothed man lifted his head and looked into the distance. It's been said that the Lu clan's little girl is also a clever one. There shouldn't be any problems. When she returns, you both try your best to befriend her. Yun Tianchen and the imperial teacher exchanged a glance and saw the confusion in each other's eyes. He tentatively asked, Imperial grandfather, is it that you desire to befriend the alchemist behind Lu girl? The purple-clothed man sneered, the alchemist behind her is not even known by this eminence, so how could one speak of befriending? She and Monarch Ming does not have a normal relationship. Simply based on this, it is worth our effort to befriend. Monarch Ming. You mean the senior sword sovereign who jumped into the lava pool for Lu girl? Yun Tianchen had investigated what occurred at the glacial mountain range, so he also knew the existence of Monarch Ming. Yun Sung's cloudy eyes displayed a sharp light. Is it possible the Monarch Ming that your lord speaks of is the person who appeared and saved the Lu clan's girl at the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance? When they heard of what occurred last time in front of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance, they had ordered people to investigate the 2 sword monarchs present. It took some means and time to find out the identity of the black-clothed old man, but the moment they had just started investigating Monarch Ming's identity, they were warned by the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance's superiors and requested to not spread the news. Due to that, they gave up and sealed the news. Yes. It is him. The purple-clothed man nodded and continued, if I did not assume wrong, then he should be the hall master of the 9-layer hall, and also the real power behind the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance. What? Yun Tianchen and Yun Sung exclaimed in disbelief. The purple-clothed man raised the corner of his lips slightly, no need to be so surprised. The sword sovereign powerhouses of the 10 distinguished clans at the glacial mountain range probably did not even recognize him, otherwise they would definitely not dare to contend for the Heavenly Frost golden crystal with him. I also only accidentally learned of this person's existence when I traveled to the southern region 3 years ago. The purple-clothed man's eyes were full of caution and fear. This person is powerful and mysterious, and the forces behind him is even more unfathomable. Our Yanzhou kingdom can only befriend, and can never, ever offend. An existence not even known by the sword sovereign powerhouses of the 10 distinguished clans? Then this person is too mysterious. Yun Kan sighed. When Monarch Ming saved Lu girl outside of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance, he was only at Sword Monarch Cultivation Base. Just how long has it been, and he already advanced to Sword Sovereign Cultivation Base, and even fought 1 against 9. Truly too strong. The 9-layer hall is one of the most mysterious forces in the southern region. The 10 distinguished clans of the eastern region can only be ranked as third-rate forces there. Not knowing the existence of Monarch Ming is also understandable. He must be exceptional to be able to sit on the seat of Hall Master. Being strong is the first condition. The purple-clothed man explained. Yun Tianchen thought deeply about it, then said, as such, then the mysterious master behind Lu girl is potentially Senior Monarch Ming? Highly possible. Otherwise he wouldn't risk jumping into the lava pool to save her. The purple-clothed man said, as for Monarch Ming's identity, you two must keep secret, and must not disclose it. Yes. Not to mention the mysterious and unpredictable 9-layer hall, even the Ming Chamber of Commerce alliance that spanned the entire Tianling continent was an existence that Yanzhou Kingdom couldn't provoke. They naturally wouldn't be loquacious and cause trouble. 3 days later, Lu Muyan and Ming Xiu rode Bing Ji to a barren mountain outside Yanzhou Kingdom. The Isowan's figure was too eye-catching, so she decided to enter the city alone. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, woman, I'll send you up to here. Ming Xiu reached out and hugged Lu Muyan, then immediately let go. He had probed the entire imperial capital using his mental energy and didn't discover any ambushes. It was safe for Lu Muyan to enter the city and go home alone. After leaving Ming Xiu's warm embrace, Lu Muyan restrained the emotions in her eyes and smiled, "All right. Let's meet again. Woman. I believe we'll meet again very soon." On Ming Xiu's face that was so handsome it was otherworldly, rose a devilishly charming smile, and he leaned in beside her ear. "If something happens, take the Ming Alliance token that I gave you last time to find Elder Yi at the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance. He will obey your instructions." Lu Muyan's clear eyes were filled with a dense smile. "All right." Ming Xiu left a kiss on her forehead, activated a yellow talisman, then turned and disappeared into the barren mountain. "Beauty, that pervert's gone. Even if you want to kiss and hug again, there won't be any more chances." A certain cheap bird's mouth teased. Lu Muyan retracted her gaze and looked askance at Bing Ji. With a thought, a golden ring flew from her hand and instantly encircled the big eye Suwan's beak. "Master, I was wrong. I'll never tease you again." Then, Bing Ji's pitiful voice sounded in Lu Muyan's mind. "You're just owing a beating." Lu Muyan rolled her eyes at him, then raised an eyebrow and asked, "Are you going to take the initiative to enter the spirit pet bangle yourself, or should I put you in?" Bing Ji's two watery eyes looked at her grievously, then said in an accusatory manner, "Why can Mo Yen not need to return to the spirit pet bangle? Master is the best. I won't go in either, all right?" Just think about it, how could he, a dignified ice master of the glacial mountain range, even if his cultivation base was restricted now, toss away his status and stay in the spirit pet bangle? If those mean friends of his knew, then wouldn't they laugh off their teeth? Mo Yen looks like a fire cloud mink, so it doesn't matter if others see him. But you, with just a soar into the sky above the imperial capital, everyone would know that a descendant of a divine beast came. Do you still think I don't have enough trouble? Lu Muyan furrowed her brows. This stinky bird didn't only have a cheap beak, but he sure had a lot of issues with things. Bing Ji chopped, then glanced at the cold Mo Yen on Little Master's body, and his eyes rolled around in thought. Then he eventually gritted his teeth, the demonic energy in his Yaofu activated, and his body gradually shrank, finally turning into a multicolored parrot. "Master, in this way, I don't have to enter the spirit pet bangle anymore, right?" Bing Ji spread his wings and flew onto Lu Muyan's other shoulder and rubbed her shoulder with his head. The light smell of medicine on Little Master was so nice, no wonder that pervert loved to stick to her side. Seeing Bing Ji transform from a giant, Sundara, an extraordinarily beautiful descendant of divine beasts into an ostentatious multicolored parrot, Lu Muyan's eyelids couldn't help but twitch. The visual difference was too big. "It's fine for you to stay outside, but you're not allowed to cause me any trouble, otherwise I'll pluck out all your feathers." Lu Muyan flicked Bing Ji on the head with her fingers as a warning. This restless stinky bird probably couldn't be locked away either, so she might as well place him beneath her eyes and watch him. Then the little white snake on her wrist flicked its forked tongue out at Bing Ji, expressing its dislike. Master belonged to it, this stinky bird was so detestable. Mo Yen also gave Bing Ji a cold eye, scorned at being associated with him, and spontaneously disappeared from Lu Muyan's shoulder, entering the spirit pet bangle. Lu Muyan held her forehead. Her place was almost becoming a demonic beast den. Note, oh, I can't wait till it really becomes a demonic beast den, ahaha. Chapter 131, Making a Deal with the Imperial Family. Lu Muyan covered her body with a white cloak when she entered the imperial capital city and no one recognized her. When she arrived at the general's mansion, she used her mental energy to investigate the area. When she found that no one was following her, she leapt lightly over the wall and went inside. Who? Lu Muyen didn't use any concealing methods when she entered the general's mansion, that's why she was immediately found by the steward. She took off the cloak over her head, revealing a stunning face and shouted with an affectionate smile, "Grandpa E. Young Miss has finally returned." Seeing the visitor was Lu Muyen, Steward E was so emotional that he had tears in his eyes. He also knew that the rumors outside weren't true. Lu Muyen stepped forward to support him. "Grandpa E, don't worry about me, I've got good luck." Young Miss is worthy, so you must have heaven's help." Steward E quickly wiped his eyes and said with a smile, "Quickly go to the secret room, the marshal and general are discussing your business." "All right, Grandpa E, I'll go first then." There was a secret passage under an empty courtyard of the Lu clan which contained several practice rooms and a secret room equipped with arrays. Only people with the recognized aura of the Lu clan could enter. Lu Muyen walked to the door of the secret room, put her hands on the stone wall of the secret room, then merged her aura into the stone wall, and a stone door opened in the middle. As soon as she walked into the stone wall, she saw two pairs of excited eyes staring at her. "Yener." Lu Zhantian and Lu Mo Yu stood up at the same time and exclaimed. "Paternal Grandpa, Dad, I've returned." Lu Muyen walked towards the two with warmth in her eyes. Lu Zhantian was so excited his face flushed entirely red. "You stinky girl finally returned. We were so anxious. As long as you've returned." Lu Mo Yu's handsome and elegant face also revealed a rare expression of having peace of mind. "Just what's going on?" Lu Zhantian took Lu Muyen to sit down and ask. Lu Muyen also didn't conceal anything and briefly recounted what occurred in the glacial mountain range. She didn't even conceal the matter of subduing the spirit flame and Bing Ji. These were all family that she could trust, so she'd tell them the truth. "So that's how it was. Our Lu clan really owes Monarch Ming a huge personal favor." Lu Zhantian felt lingering fear in his heart after hearing it and had gratitude in his tone. If it weren't for the ice bangle that Monarch Ming gave Yener, his family's Yener might just have been buried in the lava. Lu Mo Yu nodded in agreement. "No matter how strong he is, our Lu clan will definitely repay this kindness." Lu Muyen couldn't really speak and stop them. She couldn't just tell her paternal grandfather and father that Ming Xiu, that guy, in actual fact, fell in love with her right. Although she and Ming Xiu both had that sort of meaning, but there wasn't even the first stroke of the character for 8-1, it still wasn't time to tell her family. "This is the Tier 8 Ice one you contracted?" Lu Zhantian's tone carried a little bit of doubt. No matter whether Lu Zhantian looked left or right at the colorful parrot on his granddaughter's shoulder, it didn't appear to be a Tier 8 demonic beast. Bing Ji's forehead was creased heavily. His lifetime's reputation was ruined just like this. Well, he turned into a colorful parrot himself. Otherwise it'd be too eye-catching to go out in the true form of an Icewan. That's true. It's better to hide it like this. Lu Zhantian also hoped that his granddaughter would be low-key for the time being. "Master, please take off the golden ring from my mouth. I promise I won't speak nonsense." Lu Muyen narrowed her eyes at him and threw a few cold knives too over at him. It'd be strange if she believed this stinky bird's mouth. What if he tells them everything about her and Ming Xiu, then she wouldn't know how to deal with her paternal grandfather and father at all. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Seeing the warnings in Little Master's eyes and how he couldn't make any mischief with the seal inside him, he could only sullenly curse Lu Muyen and Ming Xiu in his heart. He had lived so smoothly like the wind and water for more than 100 years, but who knew that he'd end up like this because of a simple tease? He really didn't know if it were because he did too many wicked things in his previous life that he ended up like this. "Yener, do you have any plans?" Lu Mo Yu poured a cup of tea for Lu Muyen and asked with concern. Lu Muyen took the tea, staring at the clear tea water in the teacup. "Naturally, I won't let those people go. Do you want others to know the news of your return?" Lu Mo knew that his daughter had grown up now and had her own thoughts, so he'd respect them. Not for the time being. Just let those people be happy for a few days first. Lu Muyen sneered. She was certain that the Gu clan was definitely involved in her assassination. All right. Killing intent flashed past the bottom of Lu Mo's eyes. The people or clans that participated in the assassination attempt of his precious daughter, the Lu clan wouldn't let go of them. Lu Muyen thought it funny when she looked at Grandpa Lu, who was currently staring with big wide eyes at Bing Ji while the latter stared back with small wide eyes, then said, "Paternal Grandpa, I want to go see the sword's sovereign ancestor of the imperial family tomorrow." Lu Zhantian knew that his granddaughter had a lot of mischievous ideas, and he didn't want to restrain her. "Sure. I'll take you to see him tomorrow." After conversing with the two a little longer, Lu Muyen left the secret room with Bing Ji. Early the next morning, a carriage went straight to the imperial palace from the Lu clan, and spies from various parties returned to report. After only 2 hours, all the clans and forces, whether large or small, of the imperial capital, received news of Lu Zhantian wreaking havoc in the imperial pavilion hall, and they all felt that he had definitely gone crazy. Just what sort of place was the imperial pavilion hall? That was the place where the sword's sovereign ancestor of the imperial family lived in. Lu Zhantian, a sword king, dared cause trouble simply for a dead granddaughter. His head had really been clamped by a door. Yun Tianchen was just marking some memorials to the throne and was also shocked when he heard the news that Lu Zhantian wanted to smash the inscribed board of the imperial pavilion hall, so he quickly hurried over. This father-in-law of his truly was courageous and strategic, but whenever he did things, he did it based on his feelings, and he had a bad and stubborn temper. If he offended imperial grandfather, he really didn't know how to help the Lu clan clean the grounds. Yet who knew that as soon as he stepped into the imperial pavilion hall, he saw 3 people sitting in the hall, talking and laughing, chatting over tea. Where was the legendary tense situation as if swords were drawn and bows were bent? Yun Tianchen's hovering heart finally settled. Lu Muyen didn't get up when she saw that Yun Tianchen had arrived, only smiled and greeted, "Paternal Uncle Emperor." "Little girl, I just knew you'd come back alive." Yun Tianchen also didn't care about Lu Muyen's actions. This girl had always been very bold. Yun Tianchen smiled at Lu Muyen, then walked over to the purple-clothed man to greet respectfully. "Imperial grandfather." "Sit." The purple-clothed man nodded. "Lu clan's little girl, for what reason do you come to see this eminence this time?" The purple-clothed man moved his gaze onto Lu Muyen, his expression gentle, just like an elder member of the family. Lu Muyen also didn't want to go around in circles and said straightforwardly, "Imperial ancestor, I want to make a deal with the imperial family." "Want to make a deal with the imperial family?" The purple-clothed man revealed a hint of interest. "Let's hear it." "I believe that you all know about the fact that I'm being chased by sacrificial soldiers who had been sent by an unknown force. I suspect that their main purpose in killing me is for one thing," Lu Muyen said. The purple-clothed man stroked the Buddhist beads in his hand and asked after a moment of silence, "Your meaning is, their purpose is the marrow cleansing pill?" Aside from the marrow cleansing pill, he also couldn't find any other purpose for those people to sacrifice a sword monarch and more than a dozen sword kings and sword spirits to kill Lu Muyen. Come true, one things haven't even started between LMY and MX, so how could she tell them anything yet is her meaning. I mean, one day LMY's gotta tell her family he fell in love with her. And she fell in love with him, he, too, figuratively meaning sharp, cold gazes that feel penetrating. Chapter 132, Love-Making Poison. Gu Yun Tianchen and Lu Zhantian had different reactions after listening to the conversation between the two. Lu Zhantian exuded a chill, secretly hunting down his granddaughter just for some pills. Those people truly deserved to die. Meanwhile, Yun Tianchen's eyes revealed slight confusion. If it's for the marrow cleansing pill, then shouldn't they try Tokach Lu girl? Why do they want to assassinate her instead? The purple-clothed man looked at Lu Muyen meaningfully and smiled. "What do you think, little girl?" If the enemy kingdom had a person who owned marrow-cleansing pills, and who could also refine the energy-nourishing pill, but was the granddaughter of a great marshal who can't be used for themselves, then what would you all do if it were you? Lu Mu Yen asked with a light smile. Yun Tianchen answered, naturally kill. Then he pondered for a while and said, so that's how it is. It seems that the mastermind behind that force is an enemy kingdom of Yanzhou Kingdom. Paternal Uncle Emperor, have you ever felt tired recently during the day, but at night, you'd be as vigorous as a dragon and as lively as a tiger? Lu Mu Yen looked at Yun Tianchen with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Yun Tianchen was taken aback and smiled somewhat awkwardly. There has indeed been such a situation in recent months. Could there be something wrong? He had long suspected that something was wrong with his body, but the empire's physicians and alchemists had all checked him and there was no major problem. Of course something's wrong. Lu Mu Yen continued, can I feel your pulse? Sure. He didn't doubt Lu Mu Yen's medical skills. He had never told outsiders about his symptoms, so since she could tell his symptoms, then she must have an extraordinary side. Lu Mu Yen probed Yun Tianchen's pulse and furrowed her brows unconsciously. There's a type of toxin hidden in your body, but it hasn't broken out yet, so other physicians or alchemists can't detect it. But if you wait for them to be able to detect it, then Paternal Uncle Emperor, your entire cultivation base would probably already be lost. What kind of poison is it? Yun Tianchen, as the monarch of an entire kingdom, indeed had a heart that was fearless against danger. Even if he was shocked inwardly, but he didn't display it. A kind of love-making poison one. Seeing the confusion in Yun Tianchen's face, she added, Paternal Uncle Emperor, when night arrives and you find that you're really energetic, is it when you go to Imperial Noble Consort Gus' place? Yun Tianchen narrowed his eyes slightly and concealed the dark light in his eyes. He hadn't felt it before, but in retrospect, it was indeed true. Every time he was full of energy and when the fire in his abdomen was burning like a stove, had always inexplicably walked to Gu Yanting's palace. As long as he made love for the night, the next day he'd feel refreshed. This situation was as if he had no control over it. The only person he loved was Lu Moz, and yet he was extremely infatuated with Gu Yanting's body. This was already incompatible with the calming method he cultivated. It seemed that there must be hidden circumstances. You mean Gu Yanting poisoned me? I once smelled the trigger for this sort of love-making poison on Imperial Noble Consort Gu, so just now when I saw that Paternal Uncle Emperor had abnormal bloodshot eyes, and there were blue eye circles, I guessed that you were affected with this kind of poison. Lu Mu Yen retracted the hand on Yun Tianchen's wrist. After checking your pulse now, I can be certain that you've been poisoned by love-making poison. Hearing Lu Mu Yan's words, coldness couldn't help but rise in Lu Zhantian and the purple-clothed man's eyes. There were indeed many obscurities and much darkness in the palace, but Gu Yanting poisoning Yun Tianchen with love-making poison stepped on their baseline. It was undeniable that Yun Tianchen was the present age's most righteous monarch, and at middle phase Sword King cultivation base, he could live at least 200 or 300 years. After he was inaugurated, he exerted himself in prospering the country, ensuring the kingdom was rich and the people were strong, and Yanzhou Kingdom's territory had also expanded a lot. If there was no accident, he'd rule and manage Yanzhou Kingdom for another 100 years. He was also the best candidate for a monarch. But if the toxin in his body broke out and he lost his cultivation base, then he'd most likely die after living for another 100 years. The period in which he was poisoned could also give other kingdoms an opportunity to take advantage of the situation. Crack. The teacup in Yun Tianchen's hand was crushed by him and his face carried some fury. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yen glanced at Yun Tianchen's teacup that was shattered into powder, and the corners of her lips curled up as she continued, the loss of cultivation base is just a symptom of the early onset of the love-making poison. If the poison isn't cured, then in the later stages, as long as one adds in a type of insect Gu too, those that are infected by the Gu poison would slowly become a puppet and be controlled by the person who planted the Gu. When she turned into a normal human and studied medicine in the human world, she once entered a continent that prospered in the art of the Gu and learnt the skills of poisoning with Gu and curing Gu. She just so happened to know about the love-making poison goo that Yun Tianchen was poisoned with. You know so much about this love-making goo, then Lu girl, you must have a way to solve it. The purple-clothed man turned the Buddhist beads in his hand much faster. Yun Tianchen was his grandson. That girl from the Gu clan dared to have such ideas, she truly deserved to die. Indeed it can be cured. She was here to do business, and this was just a bait for the transaction. Is it difficult to cure? Yun Tianchen still had a smile on his face, but there was no temperature in his eyes. Lu Mu Yen replied, the love-making poison hadn't yet broken out for the first time, so it's easy to cure. If your cultivation base was lost in the future, and one planted a goo in you, then it'd be difficult to cure. In fact, paternal uncle emperor can ask the imperial physician of the empire to examine the center of the sole of your feet. There must already be initial symptoms of poisoning there. No need. Little girl, you can cure this poison, so I'll naturally seek you to cure it. Yun Tianchen displayed trust on his face. Lu Mu Yen smiled and said, then I'll have to go back and prepare a few spiritual herbs and treat it for you in a few days. She also added in her heart, and also give you time to investigate this kind of poison. Alright. The cure will depend on Lu girl then. After curing it, paternal uncle emperor will thank you greatly. Yun Tianchen was also anxious inwardly. If it truly was like what Lu Mu Yen said, then he'd face the complete loss of his cultivation base and end up being under Gu Yen Ting's control. He naturally wouldn't be reconciled. Originally, Gu Yen Ting was just a bait placed by the imperial family on the surface of the water, wanting to catch the big fish in the lake, yet who knew that he was poisoned by the bait after the wrong move? It truly was ironic. Lu girl, you said before that you wanted to make a deal with the imperial family. It shouldn't just be to cure your paternal uncle emperor, is it? The purple-clothed man smiled enigmatically. This girl was even more crafty than Lu Zhan Tian, that old little kid, and Lu Mu Yu, that slippery head. Bringing up Yun Tianchen being poisoned first was probably so that she could have an extra bargaining chip for the subsequent negotiations. If Lu Mu Yen knew ancestor Yun's guess, she'd probably clap her hands and praise him. The older the ginger, the spicier it was too. Naturally it isn't only about the poisoning of paternal uncle emperor, that's just in addition to. Lu Mu Yen smiled sweetly and blinked her eyes at the purple-clothed man. Imperial ancestor, what if I said I still have marrow cleansing pills? Ha! The purple-clothed man raised his head and laughed, restraining the shock and joy in his eyes. I just knew that you, girl, is even more crafty than your grandfather. Speak, how do you want to trade? Although he suspected that Lu Mu Yen still had marrow cleansing pills in her hand, but he wasn't certain. After all, it was already incredible that so many such heaven-defying pills could spread around. Who knew that she really had some left in her hands? It seemed that the hidden master behind little Lu girl really pampered her dearly. No matter what conditions she made, their imperial family wouldn't suffer too much. Come true one. This was a bit tricky to translate. Is the name of a type of plant, the silk tree or acacia tree. I'm not good with botany lol. But it's also a euphemism for make love. I just went ahead and translated it into the euphemism meaning because it makes more sense, and that's exactly what the poison is. Too, I'm sure everyone knows Watgis, what with the super popular Reverend Insanity being all the hype these days. Haha, at least, it was everywhere in the FB groups I joined. Butga's also been used in a lot of sea novels too. It's mostly, if not always, depicted as a type of insect, and depending on the novel, the explanation of how to raise goo is different. In general, and in mythology, goo is a type of black magic, I guess, described as a type of poison where several venomous creatures, centipede, spider, snake etc., are put into a closed container where they devour one another and eventually concentrate all their toxins into the lone survivor. There are some differing versions of the story, including things like what the goo is used for, where it originates etc., but that's about it in general. 3. The older, the wiser, basically. Note, alrightio. First update of the day, another coming at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time today too. Double updates will ideally continue until the end of the school holidays at the end of January, but circumstances could change. As usual, we'll update changes. Chapter 133, Reach a Deal. Both Yun Tianchen and Lu Zhantian were eagerly waiting to see what conditions for trade Lu Mu Yen was going to propose. Lu girl, how many marrow cleansing pills do you still have? The purple-robed man's action of rubbing the Buddhist beads stopped and asked. Lu Mu Yen stretched out 3 fingers. There are 3 more. All of which can be traded to the imperial family. All right. This eminence will allow you to make 3 conditions. As long as our imperial family can do it, we will promise you. Seeing Lu Mu Yen, this little girl, being so straightforward, the Yun clan's ancestor also bluntly promised. And in his heart, he thought, this girl sure could hide things well. There were actually 3 more marrow cleansing pills. With his guess, that probably wasn't all. If he let those old things from the other clans know about it, then he might have to personally go out and request the pills for the imperial family. It was better to keep this a secret. Lu Mu Yen smiled sweetly, like a little sly fox. All right, imperial ancestor is much more straightforward than paternal uncle emperor. The corner of Yun Tianchen's mouth twitched. Last time this girl had extorted him using the energy-nourishing pill, and he only just hesitated for a little bit. Where was he not straightforward? She sure could hold grudges. Lu Mu Yen ignored Yun Tianchen's gaze that carried slight aggrievement and said to the Yun clan's ancestor, then I won't be polite in making my requests. Make them. First, if the Gu clan participated in the plan to assassinate me, then I want a right to deal with everyone in the Gu clan, including imperial noble consort Gu. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were sharp. She wouldn't allow the venomous snake of their Lu clan be handed over to anyone else to deal with. The Gu clan felt too weird to her, especially the use of borrowing external forces to forcibly advance their cultivation base, which was the same as those assassins. They definitely wouldn't be as simple as they appeared on the surface, and being merchants for royalty was probably also just a cover. Alright. Even if you don't touch the Gu clan, this eminence won't let them go either. There was a deep chill in the eyes of the Yun clan's ancestor. They dared to scheme against Yanzhou Kingdom's emperor, so they must prepare themselves to pay the price. Now that the Lu clan's girl wanted to deal with them, then he was happy to shake his hand off this matter. Lu Mu Yen nodded and continued, second, our Lu clan wants to build a private army of our own, not affiliated to the imperial family, but will never betray Yanzhou Kingdom. Yun Tianchen revealed a look of surprise. This Lu girl's courage was truly huge. His feelings of affection to the Lu clan were stronger than his wariness of them, so he wouldn't object it. He just turned his eyes to the purple-clothed man to wait for him to decide. The Yun clan's ancestor thought for a bit, then agreed, you can, but the number of people must not exceed 100. This girl, Lu Mu Yen, was a famous alchemist, and was also backed by Ming Xiu and the others. It wasn't difficult to build a strong private army. In order to not threaten the interests of the imperial family, he could agree, but must limit the number of people. 100 people would affect the imperial family but had no subversive power. No problem. Lu Mu Yen smiled lightly and agreed. Good armies weren't about quantity, but about quality. The limit of 100 soldiers was also acceptable to her. The last point, you must allow me complete access and to take as I please from the imperial family's spiritual herb treasury. Seeing the Yun clan's ancestor and Yun Tianchen's expressions change, she chuckled and added, of course, I won't take randomly, let alone empty the imperial family's spiritual herb treasury. Instead, I'll use certain pills to compensate, such as the energy-nourishing pill I gave you before. The list she issued last time contained a lot of rare spiritual herbs, and the imperial family provided them all. If she wanted to raise 100 people for the private army of the Lu clan, then it was naturally better to use other people's resources. Being able to save some of her own was a portion saved. Hearing Lu Mu Yen mention the energy-nourishing pill, Yun Tianchen's eyes lit up, and when the Yun clan's ancestor remembered what the enshrined alchemist had said, he was also interested now. The energy-nourishing pill had miraculous effects on internal and external injuries. Within it, there were several spiritual herb ingredients that even the enshrined grade 3 alchemist, who had studied it for several months, couldn't figure out what they were. If one wanted to obtain it, they had to find Lu Mu Yen. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, we can promise you, but if it's just providing energy-nourishing pills and if the amount is too small, it wouldn't be effective on the battlefield. So we need you to reproduce a copy for the imperial family. The Yun clan's ancestor knew this request could be a little too much. After all, pill formulas were as precious as the life of an alchemist. But if Yanzhou Kingdom wanted to use it on the battlefield in large quantities, obviously it was impossible to wait for Lu Mu Yen to slowly refine it. The problem he thought about, Lu Mu Yen also was thinking about. As if she had that much energy to refine a large quantity of energy-nourishing pills or other pills to provide them. It was just a copy of the pill formula. She was also thinking the same, so she was happy to be more relaxed. I can. After she spoke, she immediately took out a blank jade slip, put it on her head, and she used her mental energy to replicate a copy of the energy-nourishing pill formula. Then she casually handed it over to the Yun clan's ancestor. This pill formula can be regarded as my sincerity in this cooperation. Little Lu girl is better than the others in the Lu clan in handling affairs. The Lu clan has a hopeful future. The Yun clan's ancestor reached out his hand and took the jade slip. He took a look with his mental energy and smiled at Lu Zhantian with a rare compliment. Lu Zhantian's tall and sturdy body straightened up with a face of seriousness and pride. The color blue is made out of indigo but is more vivid than indigo one. My family's yener is among the best of the best. Hearing Lu Zhantian's words, the three people, including Lu Mu Yen, couldn't help holding their foreheads. His skin sure was thick. Lu girl, this eminence can allow you to use the spiritual herbs in the imperial family's private treasury, but I hope you'll promise me a condition. The Yun clan's ancestor narrowed his eyes slightly and covered the cunning light in his eyes. Lu Mu Yen took a sip of tea and asked slowly, Imperial ancestor, please say. If your Lu clan wants to build a private army, then they must be raised with pills, right? The Yun clan's ancestor said with a smile. That's natural. I suppose the imperial ancestor wants the pills in providing for the Lu clan's private army. Lu Mu Yen guessed the old fox's thoughts accurately. Haha, the Yun clan's ancestor laughed heartily with a hint of appreciation in his eyes. Little girl sure is smart. Sure. It's just a few grade 1 and 2 pills. Just provide me with your spiritual herbs when the time comes, then find me 2 alchemists. I'll teach them how to refine them and just supply them together. Lu Mu Yen said with a smile, paying it no mind, but there were calculations in the bottom of her eyes. This sure was a big fish that came to her door. Not only did the imperial family provide the huge cost of spiritual herbs, now she could even use this to ask for 2 free alchemists to make pills for the imperial family and Lu clan. It saved time and effort and was mutually beneficial. Excellent. Yun Tianchen and the Yun clan's ancestor couldn't help but hold their foreheads. What did she mean by just a few grade 1 and 2 pills? Grade 1 pills were already very rare on the market, and grade 2 pills were even more scarce. Even the auction houses of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance rarely auctioned them. At once, perhaps only 1 or 2. If her indifferent tone was heard by the sword masters outside who waited for the pills to enter the market and be auctioned, then that was definitely going to pull aggro. But hearing Lu Mu Yan's tone, she didn't just know 1 or 2 types of grade 1 or 2 pills. Their hearts grew fiery with desire now. One must know that raising an alchemist wasn't just supplying them with resources. Without pill formulas, then it was like having ingredients for food but no recipe. Since Lu girl wanted alchemists, then they'd naturally give, and she could even train 1 or 2 for their imperial family. It was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Deal. The Yun clan's ancestor immediately made a decision. Lu Mu Yan's beautiful eyes were as bright as the stars, straightforward. I hope we could cooperate happily. The 2 parties signed a contract at Lu Mu Yan's request. When they left the Imperial Pavilion Hall, Lu Zhantian quickly stuffed Lu Mu Yen into the carriage, then ran outside the hall and began to yell and curse, making the hidden spies unable to resist lighting a candle for him. come true one. So this idiom just means the student surpasses the master. Chapter 134, Smithing Method. After returning to the Lu clan, Lu Mu Yen went to the smithing room first to see Hu Xiao. There was a secret courtyard in the Lu clan which was basically unknown to outsiders. After Hu Xiao arrived with Lu Mu Yan's letter, Lu Mou arranged for him to live in it. Lu Mu Yan still concealed her appearance. After entering the secret courtyard, she went to the specially built smithing room. As soon as she walked to the door, she felt a rush of heat. A layer of restrictions was placed at the door of the smithing room by someone. She raised her lips, swept the restriction with her mental energy, and found a loophole in a flower stand by the door. With a casual wave of her hand, a burst of elemental energy shot out and the restriction instantly revealed a gap that could just accommodate a person, and she immediately slipped in. With the restriction touched, Hu Xiao, who was currently smithing inside, yelled, "Who?" Lu Mu Yan didn't push open the door directly, but instead stood at the door and said one word, "Me." The door opened immediately and Hu Xiao, who had tangled, messy hair and wrinkled clothes, practically flew out from inside. "Little master, you're finally back." Hu Xiao felt that tears were about to wet his eyes. His master finally appeared. Lu Mu Yan glanced at Hu Xiao with disgust and went straight into the room, scanned the messy smithing room, and her brows furrowed unconsciously. She found what appeared to be a clean spot, sat down, and said, "Hu Xiao, can you stop being so sloppy?" Where was this like a smithing room? It was basically a pigsty. No, it was even worse than a pigsty. Hu Xiao knew that his little master liked cleanliness, and found that the room was indeed messy, so he scratched his head in embarrassment and said, "Little master, I've been focused on studying a magic treasure and forgot to clean. I'll clean it up later." "How it is? Are you used to living here?" Lu Mu Yan also knew his natural disposition and no longer remained tangled up with the issue of hygiene. Either way, only Hu Xiao, himself, lived here. Hu Xiao nodded, "I'm used to it, but I just miss little master." The corner of Lu Mu Yan's lips twitched slightly. What did she have that was worth for him to miss? "Enough, I'm here to ask you about your future plans." "Naturally I want to follow little master." Hu Xiao winked at Lu Mu Yan and made a look as if he had suffered bitterly and nursed deep hatred, saying pitifully, "Little master, you won't not want me anymore, right? Since I accepted you as a disciple, I naturally not want you." Lu Mu Yan pushed Hu Xiao, who had neared her, away. Just how long hadn't this person taken a bath? "In fact, I need to trouble you for something." "You're my master, please tell me if you have anything to order." Saying you need to trouble me makes it feel as if I'm an outsider. Hu Xiao said with a smile. Lu Mu Yan felt that she indeed didn't choose incorrectly when she accepted this disciple. She took out a jade slip from her interspatial ring and threw it to Hu Xiao. "This is a method for smithing which is perfectly suitable for you to use right now. You can come to me and ask if you have any questions." Hu Xiao's eyes beneath his messy hair were astonishingly bright. He carefully took the jade slip and probed it with his mental energy to study. As he read and read, he unconsciously became engrossed by it. Half a day later, when he snapped out from reading the smithing method in the jade slip, he discovered that his little master was already no longer in the room. After hurriedly running out of the room and looking around, he found Lu Mu Yan drinking tea in the shade under some vines in the courtyard, enjoying the cool. "Little master." For Hu Xiao, if at first it was because he was attracted by Lu Mu Yan's rich knowledge of smithing, then now, after reading the smithing method in the jade slip, he was completely loyal. This kind of smithing technique could cause a sensation in Tianling continent if it were revealed. Not to mention grade 3 or 4 smiths, probably even grade 5 smiths or even higher level smiths would desire it. "Is there anything you don't understand after reading the jade slip?" "I'll stay in the imperial capital for 3 days. In the 3 days, you can come to me to resolve any confusions." The smithing method that Lu Mu Yan gave Hu Xiao was something that she had thoroughly studied countless times in her past life, so it was easy to answer any questions. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. "Thanks," Hu Xiao said with excitement in his eyes, "I do." There's a part in this smithing method that said, Hu Xiao told her all the parts he didn't understand before, and after Lu Mu Yan heard it, she gave out incisive answers with 2 or 3 sentences, which made him suddenly become enlightened. He didn't dare to underestimate this little master even more. There was even a feeling of worship for her that rose within him. One questioned and one answered like this for most of the day. Within the 3 days, Hu Xiao was constantly studying this smithing method, and whenever he encountered any incomprehensible parts, he would go to the courtyard and ask Lu Mu Yan. Lu Mu Yan also didn't conceal anything and clarified for him one by one. On the 3rd night, Lu Mu Yan discussed with him again before leaving. Hu Xiao, I have to leave the imperial capital for some time for some things. You can just stay in this courtyard researching the smithing method and stabilize your understandings as a grade 3 smith first. Alright. I'll listen to everything little master says. Hu Xiao was currently completely convinced by Lu Mu Yan, and there was only one thought in his heart. He'd follow her all his life with thickened skin and be hard to shake off. Lu Mu Yan smiled with satisfaction and said, I'm going to build a private army of 100 people for the Lu clan. Their magic treasures will be handed over to you to forge, and I'll let my dad send you the materials. What were disciples used for? After teaching, naturally they were used for hard work. Alright, I must build a private army with the strongest forces for master. With little master's smithing methods, his smithing skills would be even better. Making high-quality magic treasures for 100 people would merely take some time and effort, but it was his honor to do things for his master. Lu Mu Yan nodded with a small smile and stretched out her hand to pat the cleaned Hu Xiao. Smithing is a must, but you must also take care of your body too. Little master, I'll combine work and rest like you said, so you can go to the Yi clan with an ease of heart. Leave the magic treasures the Lu clan needs to me. Hu Xiao was deeply moved in his heart. After living for so long, no one had ever cared about his body. But he didn't display his feelings, and instead remembered it in his heart. Then thanks for your hard work. Lu Mu Yan didn't hesitate to exploit this disciple, but she was also exceptionally generous. When she directly gave a piece of heavenly frost golden crystal to Hu Xiao earlier, it almost frightened him stupid. It's not hard work. It's worth all the hard work as long as it's for little master. Hu Xiao buttered up to her inwardly, feeling exceptionally pleased. Recognizing her as master was truly too correct. Bing Ji, who stood on Lu Mu Yan's shoulders, just didn't like that look of fawning and pursed his lips in disdain. Sycophant. Bald bird, you try and say that again. Hu Xiao rolled up his sleeves and wanted to step forward to take care of that colorful parrot that mocked him all day long. Don't think that just because you're little master's spirit pet that your tail can turn upwards towards the sky one. Bing Ji's eyes were full of ridicule. Just you, a sloven, and you dare threaten this uncle too. TSK, go cultivate another 100 years. Do you believe that lousy 3 will pluck all your feathers out? Hu Xiao stretched out his hands to try to catch the colorful parrot. Lu Mu Yan couldn't help rolling her eyes. This human and that bird argued as soon as they saw each other. Her head hurt just from listening. Enough. Hu Xiao, you go back and rest. I'll be leaving. Lu Mu Yan stopped Hu Xiao's outstretched hand, otherwise had definitely chased the bird all over the yard chaotically. Master. Hu Xiao looked at Lu Mu Yan aggrievedly. Why don't you stay one more night and leave tomorrow morning? He actually felt really reluctant for little master to leave. She was beautiful and kind-hearted, talented and had high comprehension. He really didn't know which stinky boy would be blessed with her in the future. Sloven, you. Just as Bing Ji wanted to continue taunting, he was stopped by Lu Mu Yan's gaze that appeared to be throwing a cold knife at him, and he reluctantly shut his mouth. Come true one, like stick your nose up to the sky, meaning to be arrogant. 2 arrogant term of self-address. 3 just a reminder that, lousy technically translates to your father, but in this case, considering its usage in another novel of this author's, translating it to your father is just weird. It's an arrogant way of saying I, used often by men. I'm going to keep it as it is. Geez, These numerous self-addresses that they have to the point I can't even find any more translations for it lol note, so I realized that I used master to translate two different words and. Technically speaking, they're both translated as master everywhere else you look, Google, other novels etc., probably. But also has the meaning of owner, which is what Lu Mu Yen is to Bing Ji, while you'd often hear it as Shifu in English-speaking movies and shows or whatever, is a master that might teach you things, like a teacher, but more intimate because being of someone usually means they teach you practically everything they know and you inherit most, if not all, their knowledge, usually, and you, as a disciple, get other benefits like obtaining special magic tools or weapons or stuff much easier, usually as gifts. Anyways, point is, if you see the words little owner or owner come out of Bing Ji's beak in future chapters, to translate, that's me, once again, deciding to change the translation lol. Which means I'll also once again go back to change the translation in previous chapters, when I'm bothered XD. Chapter 135, arrive at the Yi clan. Lu Mu Yen rode her horse straight to meet Yunlan outside the imperial capital. She asked Lu Zhantian and Lu Mou, for the time being, to carefully select 200 sword masters with potential from the Lu clan's army, and then shall personally select 100 of them to raise as private soldiers after returning from the Yi clan. The news that she hadn't died in the glacial mountain range was also temporarily sealed, so aside from the reliable people of the Lu clan, only a few superiors of the imperial family knew. The imperial family and Empire Academy also left a place for her to participate in the event after the trial selection. Taking advantage of the chaos in the imperial capital during this period, she rushed to the Yi clan to cure Elder Yi and Yi Qinglu. Meanwhile Yunlan wanted to find Yi Qinghan to exchange pointers, so she invited him to accompany her. When Lu Mu Yen arrived at the appointed place outside the imperial capital, she saw a tall, sturdy man riding on a pure black tailwind horse, waiting. Elder cousin brother, I made you wait. Lu Mu Yen rode up to Yunlan's side and said apologetically with a smile. Yunlan turned his head with compassion in his eyes, no problem, I also just arrived. Let's go. With a cue from Lu Mu Yen, her horse galloped away. Upon seeing this, Yunlan quickly followed and asked as they rushed, Yenner, how's your eldest brother? He's already awake, but because he previously used the blood spirit skill, he injured some of his origin, so he needs some time to recover. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were filled with coldness. She must make those behind the scenes pay a heavy price. Originally, Lu Mu Bai wanted to follow them in their plan to go to the Yi clan, but because he was injured and received backlash from when he was in the glacial mountain range, he needed to recuperate, so he had to give up. Fortunately, she had learned some methods of managing and healing one's origin, otherwise without maybe 3 to 5 years, her eldest brother wouldn't be able to recover. Then that's good. Yunlan sighed in relief, Yenner, how do you plan on taking care of the Gu clan? The methods used by those in black to forcibly increase their strength was exactly the same as that displayed by Gu Yenran. It was absolutely impossible to say that there weren't any connections between the two. I'll wait until they reveal their own cloven hoof one. I always have a feeling that the Gu clan's very weird. What they want to achieve isn't trivial. She decided to lure the snake out of the cave to see what the Gu clan's purpose was. If they're really colluding with other kingdoms, Yanzhou Kingdom would be in a disadvantageous position. I wonder if Emperor Father is on the alert. Yunlan sighed. Lu Mu Yen chuckled, paternal uncle Emperor is very shrewd. Always indulging the Gu clan's growth was probably for the purpose of throwing out bait to catch the bigger fish. In the future, he can use the wealth and resources that the Gu clan accumulated over the years for himself too. It was just a pity that everything was almost ruined by the bait. But she had cured Yuntian Chen's poison before she left, so she believed Gu Yen Ting wouldn't succeed. Are you saying that Emperor Father knew that the Gu clan's hearts were impure? Yunlan had an epiphany. Lu Mu Yen nodded, I guess paternal uncle Emperor is playing a game of chess, and the Gu clan is a key chess piece. So that's how it is. No wonder some of the actions of Emperor Father made me slightly puzzled. But now that I think again, it seems normal. Yunlan thought deeply. Lu Mu Yen didn't tell Yunlan about his Emperor Father being inflicted with the love-making poison, how is paternal aunt? Empress mother has been fascinated by arrays recently and has been studying arrays all day long. I think she's been pretty well. Yun Lan's expression softened a lot when he mentioned Lu Moz. His former Empress mother constantly revolved herself around Emperor father and had no self to speak of. Now that she had something that interested her, it appeared that her whole person had a brilliance she previously lacked with a strange charm. As long as paternal aunt knows what she wants, then that's fine. Lu Mu Yen also smiled in relief. On this continent where strength was respected, women couldn't always rely on men. The two chatted while rushing, and 10 days passed quickly. The 10 distinguished clans were first-rate forces of the eastern region. They were distributed in 10 big cities near each other, and they were located in the core area of the eastern region. Come and read on our website Wuxia World Site. Thanks, the prosperity of each of the 10 distinguished clan cities were not inferior to that of the imperial capital and was even larger and more prosperous. When the two approached Luoxi city near the Yi clan, the sky had gradually dimmed already, and the afterglow of the rays of evening sunlight enveloped the entire towering city, giving it a taste of dusk. Entering Luoxi city was the same as entering Glacial City, both needing to pay a certain amount of ink gold coins which could guarantee one's safety in the city. Fighting and killing weren't allowed, otherwise they'd be punished by the Yi clan of the city lord's mansion. After entering Luoxi city, the two didn't live in an inn, but instead directly went to the city lord's mansion. The city lord's mansion was located in the golden location of the southernmost section of Luoxi city. It was towering and dignified, and even carried a simplistic and unsophisticated aura. There were 2 teams of guards guarding the gate, but there weren't any Qilin statues at the gate of the mansion like other mansions. Instead, there were 2 tall and majestic Tier 4 white Lin lion demonic beasts guarding it. Both demonic beasts carried a strong sense of righteousness and squatted on their heels on the side without being distracted. As long as someone approached, they would cast fierce gazes towards them, and those who had little courage simply wouldn't even dare to pass. It deserves to be a clan of spirit beast masters well known throughout the entire eastern region. They used Tier 4 demonic beasts just to guard the house. Yun Lan couldn't help but sigh with emotion as he dismounted his horse and stared ahead. Lu Mu Yen smiled. How can you rank second without the means and skills? Roar! Seeing outsiders approaching, the 2 white Lin lions roared at them with warning. With a smile on Lu Mu Yan's face, the beast-taming method operated in her dantian, and she pulled Yun Lan, walking directly forward. Ever since she advanced to the cultivation base of Sword King, she could start to use some secret skills. The first layer of the beast-taming method could also begin to operate. As long as the cultivation base of the demonic beast was lower than hers, then she could soothe them all. The 2 white Lin lions suddenly felt a sense of comfort from her, and instantly became quiet. The 2 groups of soldiers that guarded the outside were surprised to see the 2 pass by the white Lin lions safely. The 2 lions reacted a little at first, but now they just squatted on the ground and the ferocious looks in their eyes had long disappeared. The captain of the guards, who had better judgment, scrutinized the 2, then greeted them with a smile. May I ask what the reasons for your arrivals at our city lord's mansion are? Lu Mu Yen took out a jade pendant with the word Yi engraved on it and handed it to the capital of the guards with a faint smile, saying, I'm the friend of your young lord Yi Qing Han. Give him this pendant and he'll naturally know who we are. The head guard took a look at the jade pendant and his eyes couldn't conceal the shock. This was the young lord's personal token. It was now in the possession of this gorgeous woman with an otherworldly temperament. It seemed that their relationship wasn't simple. Young miss, sir, please wait a moment, I will report it right away. The head guard's attitude became much more friendly, and after speaking, he asked others to take Lu Mu Yen and Yun Lan into the Yi clan's reception hall. Lu Mu Yen and Yun Lan exchanged a glance, then walked through Yi clan's gate with a smile. The Yi clan city lord's mansion had white marbled steps and carved railings, fine terraces and exquisite rooms, crimson roofs and glazed tiles, high buildings and towers, waterside pavilions and caved fences, all covered with one glance. The most important thing was that every other scenery would be separated by an array. If someone accidentally broke in and didn't understand arrays, then they'd be trapped and be unable to find the exit. After the guard brought the two to the reception hall, they told someone to serve 2 cups of tea, then stood aside like an old monk sitting in meditation, unmoving. Lu Mu Yen picked up the blue and white porcelain teacup with inked bamboo and took a sip. Suddenly, there was a rush of footsteps from outside the door. Mu Yen. There were strange emotions hidden in Yi Qing Han's voice, and a tone of pleasant surprise spouted out from his lips and echoed in the hall. Come true, one saying meaning shall wait until they reveal their own true nature. Chapter 136, First time casting her interpersonal network. One first heard his voice, then saw his person. Yi Qing Han was still dressed in a dark patterned black robe and had an outstanding temperament, but if one looked closely, one could still find that in addition to his excitement, there was also a slight haggard feeling. Qing Han. Lu Mu Yen put down the teacup and stood up with a smile. Yunlan also got up and greeted, young Lord Yi. When Yi Qing Han saw that aside from Lu Mu Yen, Yunlan also came, he was surprised in his heart but didn't reveal it on his face. There was still a slight smile on his face. Mu Yen, third prince, take a seat. Yi Qing Han sat down opposite the two of them, and there was less of a feeling of distance compared to when he faced others. Mu Yen, third prince, you two didn't even send a message before you came, I could have prepared. He didn't want to believe that Lu Mu Yen was dead when he was in the glacial mountain range. He originally wanted to wait for her to come out of the lava pool, yet who knew that he and his younger sister were forcefully knocked unconscious by his little paternal uncle and taken away. After returning to the Yi clan, he had constantly been inquiring about any news of Lu Mu Yen. Little paternal uncle had told him that Lu Mu Yen was already saved by Monarch Ming, and he believed it firmly in his heart, but had been worried the entire time, and had been absent-minded in everything that he did. Now that he personally saw Lu Mu Yen alive without any losses, his heart that was hovering had finally been placed back down. I came here to cure Elder Yi and Qing Lu. My elder cousin brother wanted to discuss sword skills with you. It was all spontaneously decided, so we didn't send news first. Lu Mu Yen smiled, where's Qing Lu? Qing Lu is attending to some guests. I've already asked people to call her. As soon as Yi Qing Han's words fell, Yi Qing Lu rushed in from outside the gate, then hugged Lu Mu Yen and rubbed her shoulder with her head. Elder sister Mu Yen, I just knew you'd be fine. Lu Mu Yan's heart softened a bit and she reached out her hand to pat Yi Qing Lu's head, then said with a smile, I've got a lot of luck. Yi Qing Lu let go of Lu Mu Yen and sat next to her, affectionately hugging her arm, saying, Elder sister Mu Yen, you didn't even say a word in advance before coming to the Yi clan. You made elder brother and I worried to death. Well, isn't it so that I could give you both a surprise? Lu Mu Yen scraped her beautiful nose with a bit of pampering in her eyes. I was just wondering why Qing Lu was running so fast, so it turned out that young Miss Lu came. A clear and melodious voice sounded in the hall. As soon as Lu Mu Yen looked up, Shi Feng, Mu Yi and a beautiful woman in blue came in. This is... Lu Mu Yen smiled lightly and looked at the woman who spoke. She had seen this woman before, but they had never spoken to each other. My name's Mu Xia. We saw each other at the glacial mountain range last time. Mu Xia's attitude was rather friendly, and she wasn't hostile to Lu Mu Yen like Xue Ling and the others. Lu Mu Yen smiled softly, greetings, young Miss Mu. Ever since the glacial mountain range, I've been more interested in young Miss Lu. Don't mind making a friend? Mu Xia said naturally and unrestrained with a smile. Naturally, I don't mind. Lu Mu Yen usually preferred refreshing and straightforward women, so her impression of Mu Xia was rather good. Yi Qing Lu smiled broadly, elder sister Mu Yen, Mu Xia is also my best friend. I can see it. Lu Mu Yen was very lenient on the lively and cheerful Yi Qing Lu. Young Miss Lu, third prince. Shi Feng and Mu Yi nodded to them. Lu Mu Yen and Yunlan also exchanged a polite greeting, young Lord Shi, young Lord Mu. Who knew that young Miss Lu could survive even after falling into that lava pool? You've truly hidden your skills well. Mu Yi said with a smile. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, it was just a fluke. Lu Mu Yen said modestly. Mui lowered his head and smiled, obviously not believing in her excuse, but he didn't say much in fear of rousing dislike from her. Yiqing Han checked the time of day and stood up, saying to the few people, "Dinner is ready, let's take a seat at the table together." Sure. The several people were led by Yiqing Han to the dining hall for dinner. After dinner, Yiqing Lu hugged Lu Muyan's arm tightly and said enthusiastically, "Elder sister Muyan, sleep in my courtyard tonight." Lu Muyan just so happened to want to check on Yiqing Le's body, so she nodded, "Sure." Young Miss Lu can heal Elder Lu's chronic illness. Shi Feng remained expressionless and silent ever since their meeting to the end of the meal, and only lifted his head to ask when Lu Muyan and Yiqing Lu were about to leave. Why there was any connection between Lu Muyan and Yiqing Han, all of the 10 distinguished clans except the Ling clan had gone to investigate the reason, so they naturally also knew that Lu Muyan had treated Elder Lu before. Indeed. Lu Muyan didn't conceal it either. "I came to the Yi clan this time specifically to treat Elder Lu and Qing Lu." Soon, she'd removed the fetal poison for Yiqing Lu, so instead of letting these people investigate it themselves, it was better to say it herself. It could even instead rouse good feelings of her among them. Judging from the familiarity between Mu Yi, Shi Feng, and Yiqing Han, the relationship between the 3 clans in secret was probably very intimate, and there had long been an alliance. She wanted to help the Ling clan deal with the Shui clan and Xian clan, so it was the best choice to develop a good relationship with these 2 young lords. But in this continent where strength was respected, there were prerequisites for forming a good relationship. In terms of impressive family backgrounds, the Lu clan was inferior to the 10 distinguished clans, so Mu Yi and Shi Feng wouldn't lower themselves on purpose to befriend her just because she was the Lu clan's descendant, or because she was the granddaughter of the Ling clan. Aside from family background, the only reason for these proud, favored children of heaven to be completely convinced and befriend someone, was only strength. She was an alchemist. In others' eyes, she couldn't be compared to the alchemists of older alchemist clans like the Shi clan, but if she could cure the chronic illness and poison that even the Shi clan's grade 4 alchemist couldn't cure, then even if she didn't take the initiative, the 2 clans' younger generation would naturally want to think about befriending her. This time, she came because she thought that participating in the continental tournament for hegemony would delay some time, so she took some time out to come to the Yi clan to cure the poison for Elder Lu and Yiqing Lu first. 1. It was because of the promise, and 2. Because of her affection towards them. It's just that now she actually met the Shi clan's young lord and the Mu clan's young lord, then she'd naturally have to get acquainted with and befriend them. Those that lived in this world and silently cultivated alone were generally those wandering cultivators who had no one to depend on and without anything to care about. As a daughter of the Lu clan, she needed to share the burden for her clan, and so it was also important to associate with powerful forces and cast her interpersonal network. And the one thing that alchemists and smiths didn't lack were social connections. This was something that she had already deeply experienced in her previous life. A high-level alchemist or smith didn't even need to take the initiative to make friends with others, and there'd still be countless people who sent themselves to their door to weave a reliable network of connections. With one word, numerous powerhouses would become the forces behind them. This was also one of the reasons why the Shi, Mu, and Yi clan have been standing in the top 3 of the 10 distinguished clans for forever, and one of the reasons why the other clans simply didn't dare to provoke them. To cure Qing Lu. You can cure her fetal poison. Mu Xia's eyes were filled with bewilderment and suspicion. Although Lu Muyan displayed strong combat power, but the poison that even the ancestor of the Shi clan couldn't cure after trying, could a teenage sword master cure it? Obviously, it was incredulous. Shi Feng didn't display any excessive expressions on his face as usual, but there was a hint of interest in his eyes. In his heart, he also didn't think that Lu Muyan could cure Yiqing Le's fetal poison, but he wanted to see just what she possessed to be so confident. "Young Miss Lu, if you don't mind, could you let me watch how you cure the poison?" Come true. Chapter 137, Pretending to be calm or actually capable. Hearing Shi Feng ask this, let alone Mu Yi and Mu Xia, even Yiqing Han wanted to. Lu Muyan smiled indifferently and said, "You can, but I need to treat Elder Lu's chronic illness first. Do you also want to watch?" Elder Lu's chronic illness was much easier to treat than Yiqing-less fetal poison. Young Miss Lu is so generous, then I won't be polite. Shi Feng nodded. Many years ago Elder Lu was injured by a sword monarch's sword aura. His meridians were blocked and his cultivation base halted. The Yi clan also used to spend high prices to invite many pharmacists or alchemists to treat him, and even a grade 3 alchemist of their Shi clan came to see him. But in the end, they ended up unable to heal the illness. He had also studied Elder Lu's chronic illness and thought of a method, but it was too dangerous, so he had never proposed it. Now he wanted to see just how Lu Mu Yen cured this type of chronic illness. Mu Yen, you don't mind if 2 more people watch, right? Mu Xia's heart also felt as if it had been scratched by a cat one. Yiqing Lu was her bosom friend. If she couldn't cure the fetal poison, then she wouldn't live past 18 years old. Even if she didn't believe that Lu Mu Yen could cure it, she still felt an inexplicable hope rise in her heart. I don't mind. Lu Mu Yen didn't care how many people watched her treatments. She had a calm and firm disposition, and few people could affect her from applying needles. Mu Yen is indeed straightforward. I'm definitely befriending a person like you. Mu Xia liked women who weren't pretentious, and Lu Mu Yen's straightforwardness suited her taste very well. Lu Mu Yen smiled at her, turned her head, and looked at Yiqing Han, saying, Qing Han, find a peaceful and quiet place and invite Elder Lu over please. All right. Yiqing Han ordered the people behind him, then took the several people to a quiet courtyard in the Yi clan. The people chatted idly and waited, while Lu Mu Yen and Mu Xia also felt as if they had been friends for many years and were very agreeable with each other. Especially Mu Xia. She found that no matter what she was talking about, Lu Mu Yen had things to say, and was very insightful. Even Mu Yi and Shi Feng who were sitting by their side couldn't resist but look askance at them. About a quarter of an hour later, Yi Zhan in a simple attire, and an elegant middle-aged man walked in, followed by Elder Lu and a red-haired old man. Yiqing Han and Yiqing Lu were surprised to see both of them, Dad, little paternal uncle. Uncle Yi, Senior Yi. Mu Yi and the others immediately stood up and greeted the two in front formally. Nephews and nieces are too polite. The elegant middle-aged man waved his hand with a smile, then cast his eyes on Lu Mu Yen and said, smiling, this is the little girl of the Lu clan, yes? Greetings, Uncle Yi. Lu Mu Yen addressed politely. We welcome you and the third prince to the Yi clan. Yi Chen displayed some kindness in his eyes, and he and Yi Zhan walked to the other side and sat down. Let's all sit. Elder Lu and the other old man in red also found a place to sit, then they looked at Lu Mu Yen together. I've heard that Lu girl doesn't mind others watching when treating illnesses. Yi Zhan and I also came to join in the fun. If it's inconvenient, then we'll leave first. Yi Chen smiled and said to Lu Mu Yen. Lu Mu Yen said neither humbly nor haughtily, this junior does not mind. Her tone was very light, evidently not nervous about two big Buddhas too watching her. Her humble attitude carried confidence, which actually made everyone here think even highly of her. Lu girl, feel free to let loose your hands and feet free and perform freely, we won't disturb you. This was a guarantee. Lu Mu Yen nodded with a smile, then walked to a seat beside Elder Lu and sat down. Elder Lu, how have you been? Greetings young Miss Lu, this old man is very glad to be able to see young Miss again. Elder Lu's tone was very affectionate towards Lu Mu Yen, and his eyes hid faint excitement. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, I'll take your pulse first. Elder Lu stretched out a hand and put it on the table between the two seats, please. Lu Mu Yen placed 2 fingers on Elder Lu's wrist, and she also probed into his body with a sliver of mental energy to understand the situation. After a while, she retrieved her hand and asked, recently, when the chronic illness breaks out, the pain isn't as severe as before, right? Ever since the last time young Miss treated me with the golden needles, I'm no longer pained to the bones, nor wish to rather die than live, which were things that I used to feel every 3 months when it breaks out. Even if there is a little feeling of pain, it was just like tickling, as if nothing. Elder Lu smiled sincerely. Elder Lu, is it that you can now absorb some spiritual force and run it in your dantian, but it can't remain for a long time? Lu Mu Yen continued to ask. Elder Lu nodded, indeed, but this old man is already very pleased to be able to absorb spiritual energy again. It is all thanks to young mistreatment last time. Elder Lu is too polite. Lu Mu Yen smiled, I already have a cure for your chronic illness, and I can cure it as long as I refine a pill and pair it with the golden needles. If the young miss can truly cure this old man's chronic illness, then this old man will owe you a life. Elder Lu clasped his hands together tightly. Only he could deeply understand the feeling of having found something again that he had lost. Lu Mu Yen smiled lightly and said, I had a deal with Qing Han before, and he's already paid for the fees for your treatment. I'm just here to fulfill it, so Elder Lu has no need to be this formal. Elder Lu, just take the treatment with a peace of mind. I'll discuss with Mu Yen about the repayment. Yi Qing Han looked at Elder Lu with a smile on his lips. Just let him repay this favor. Elder Lu wasn't quarrelsome either, so he cupped his hands at Lu Mu Yen, gratefully saying, a mere thank you is an insufficient response to such a huge favor. Then I will trouble young Miss Lu. Lu Mu Yen took out a brush and paper from her interspatial ring and wrote a list to hand to Yi Qing Han. These are the spiritual herbs I need to refine the pill. Please prepare a portion. As soon as Yi Qing Han was about to take it, the red-haired old man next to Elder Lu smiled and said, Little girl, can you let this old man take a look at your spiritual herbs list? Lu Mu Yen knew the other was also an alchemist, so she smiled and passed the paper into his hands directly. The red-haired old man took the list and read it once, then confusion rose in his eyes. He had never seen a pill formula composed of these spiritual herbs before, and he had a thought in his heart, I have all these spiritual herbs in my interspatial ring. Will little girl refine the pills now? He really wanted to see what this little girl was capable of, and what kind of pills she wanted to refine. Then I trouble Senior to take out the spiritual herbs. I'll refine it now. Lu Mu Yen also didn't want to delay any more time. All these people remained here undoubtedly because they wanted to see her capabilities, so Shell just confidently and naturally let them see enough. The red-haired old man didn't hesitate either, immediately took out the spiritual herbs that Lu Mu Yen required from his interspatial ring one by one and placed it in front of her. These spiritual herbs weren't that rare, but they were mostly medicines for dredging and promoting blood circulation. He usually carried some with him, but who knew it could be of use now? Lu Mu Yen swept the spiritual herbs on the table with her eyes. Seeing that the age of each were relatively high, she took out the cyan cauldron with satisfaction and was ready to start refining pills in front of everyone. Mu Yen, do you need us to withdraw for you to refine pills? Yi Qing Han knew that many alchemists liked to work independently when refining pills and didn't like to be disturbed by outsiders. Lu Mu Yen didn't expect Yi Qing Han, a man, to be so attentive, but she didn't have those habits. She'd already refined pills in front of the imperial family before, so whether there were people or whether there were none didn't have much effect on her. No problem, no need to withdraw. Her words also increased the interest in the eyes of the people present. They sure wanted to see if she was just pretending to be calm, or whether she was actually capable. Translated product by May R. Come true. One feeling as if a cat scratched one's heart simply means they were very curious. Like itching with curiosity. Two Buddhas here simply means important people. It can often be used sarcastically, though in this case, it's just merely used to describe two significant people. 3. Telling Lu Mu Yen to have no qualms and do what she needs to, basically to relax herself. Chapter 138, Messing Around? Or well-hidden skills. Under everyone's expectations, Lu Mu Yen threw a wisp of fire condensed from fire elemental energy into the cyan cauldron. She hadn't formed a core yet, so she couldn't use the core flame, but this continent had one factor that was better than the immortal cultivation world, and that was elemental energy condensation. After advancing to Sword King, the elemental energy flames that she condensed to use for refining pills weren't inferior to core flames at all. Of course, if she used the purple gold spirit flame to refine pills, then it'd be the best, but she didn't want to expose her trump card. Shi Feng and the red-haired old man stared at her refining pills and were startled when they saw that she had thrown the spiritual herbs into the cauldron one after another in a row. This little girl truly is messing around. Where do you see such a way of refining pills? The red-haired old man couldn't help furrowing his brows as he communicated telepathically to Shi Feng. After all, there were only the two of them here who were alchemists. Shi Feng folded his arms and sat quietly, but his heart couldn't calm down. Is she trying to combine the spiritual herbs together to refine? How could so many spiritual herbs combine to refine? Even your Shi clan's ancestor couldn't do it. I really question if she's just playing with us. The red-haired old man said angrily. Elder Lu and he were close friends. He was excited for a long time after hearing that someone could cure Elder Lu's chronic illness, yet who knew he'd see such a disappointing scene. Alchemists needed to follow the principle of gradual progress when refining pills. After each spiritual herb was successfully refined, then they'd continue to refine the second, then eventually combine all the refined powders to condense the pill. But what was the Lu clan's little girl doing? Throwing all the spiritual herbs into the cauldron indiscriminately, did she think she was cooking? Even when cooking, there was an order to the ingredients, right? Seeing Lu Muyan's actions, Yi Chen and Yi Zhan couldn't help but feel a sense of disappointment in their hearts as well. Although they weren't alchemists, but they'd seen many alchemists refine pills. Lu Muyan's approach wasn't like something an alchemist should do. Could it be that she didn't know alchemy at all, and was just teasing them? But Elder Lu's condition was indeed controlled by her. Although disappointed, but no one in the room stopped Lu Muyan. They sure wanted to see how this girl would cure Elder Lu's chronic illness later. Lu Muyan naturally felt the complicated and disheartened gazes of several people, but she didn't care. What others couldn't do, didn't mean she couldn't do it either. Her mental energy was several times, or even dozens of times that of other alchemists. Others could only slowly refine the spiritual herbs one by one, but she could do multiple tasks at the same time and divide her spiritual energy into countless strands to envelop the spiritual herbs, control the flames and refine. The most important thing was that she didn't want to hide her abilities here. She needed the approval of these three distinguished clans in order to act more easily in the future. With a thought, Lu Muyan divided the flames in the cauldron into more than a dozen wisps, individually roasting each spiritual herb wrapped in mental energy. In just a moment, several small piles of different colored powders appeared in the cauldron, and they were all separated by mental energy. The cauldron actually didn't explode. The red-haired old man let out a soft gasp of surprise. He was originally counting down the time, waiting for Lu Muyan's cauldron to explode due to the random refining, but after waiting for so long, no abnormalities occurred. The most important thing was that he actually smelled the scent of successfully refined medicinal powder from the cauldron. Shi Feng's expression didn't change, but he was very surprised and confused in his heart. How did she refine so many spiritual herbs at the same time? Yi Chen tapped his finger gently on his thigh. Seeing Lu Muyan calmly continuing to throw spiritual herbs into the cauldron, he spoke telepathically to Yi Zhan. Say, do you think she can really refine so many spiritual herbs at once? If it were under normal circumstances, she'd have failed the refining long ago. But I don't smell any burnt scent. Maybe. Although she's young, but she hides her skills well. Yi Zhan had always felt that Lu Muyan gave him an indescribable feeling ever since they first met. She seemed to be faintly dangerous, yet it didn't make sense. However, he didn't regard her as an opponent to be removed. That slight sense of danger was just an instinct, but there wasn't any feeling of terror, which indicated that Lu Muyan wouldn't be a threat to him. Lu Muyan had a variety of methods, but as long as she didn't disadvantage the Yi clan, then they could become friends. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. The several people no longer spoke and watched Lu Muyan refine pills nervously. Seeing that she was still tossing spiritual herbs into the cauldron one after the other, they couldn't resist twitching their lips. This sort of method of refining pills was probably Lu Muyan's original creation. After about an hour, Lu Muyan had refined all the spiritual herbs in the cauldron. With a thought, the dozens of wisps of flames merged and formed a cluster of large flames. The medicinal powders of different colors were wrapped by mental energy and merged together. She constantly changed the heat between small flames, medium flames, and high flames. Finally, her gaze sharpened. She controlled the fire excellently, and the rudimentary pills in the cauldron began to rotate, slowly growing lustrous and shiny. Up. After another quarter of an hour, her slender, jade-like hands slapped the cauldron, and 5 yellow pills flew out. A refreshing pill fragrance also spilled out from the cauldron, lingering on the tips of everyone's noses. She took out a white porcelain bottle, waved her hand casually in the air, and the 5 pills that had flown up fell into the porcelain bottle one after the other. After removing the elemental energy flame from the cyan cauldron, Lu Mu Yen also put the cauldron away. As soon as she looked up, she saw everyone stare at her with shock. Especially the red-haired man and Shi Feng. Their gazes were as if it could burn a hole through her. "Little girl, what kind of pill did you refine?" The red-haired old man looked at Lu Mu Yen in confusion. He had been staring at this little girl since she began to refine pills. All the spiritual herbs had indeed been used, and he could judge based on the pill fragrance from the cauldron that this was a type of grade 2 pill that had the effect of dredging the meridians and promoting blood circulation. However, it was obviously not enough to treat Elder Lu's chronic illness with just these grade 2 pills. He suddenly looked forward to the next performances of the little girl. Shi Feng's eyes were filled with the desire to investigate. Lu Mu Yan's method of refining pills was simply unheard of. If it were another alchemist who dared to refine it like this, then the entire cauldron perhaps would have long been trashed. In such a short period of time, to be able to refine a grade 2 pill that they had never even seen before, it seemed that she really must have a mysterious high-level alchemist as a master behind her. This is a grade 2 vitalizing pill, specifically used to clear meridians blocked by sword auras or internal injuries. Lu Mu Yen explained with a light smile. Then how were you able to refine, merge and condense so many spiritual herbs into a pill altogether? The red-haired old man's heart itched with curiosity and felt uncomfortable if he didn't ask. Lu Mu Yen raised an eyebrow and said, "Regarding this, please forgive me as I have no comment." He couldn't just tell them, "My mental energy is much stronger than yours, you all need to be focused when refining pills, but I can split my focus into multitudes." If she really said that, then even if she wasn't slapped to death, she'd probably be regarded as having some sort of mental illness. Lu Mu Yen answering like this instead made her more mysterious in the eyes of those present. It was only normal not to reveal such a secret. The red-haired old man also found himself to be abrupt and smiled awkwardly. "Apologies, this old man didn't intend to seek your methods of refining pills, I was just curious." Lu Mu Yen knew it was also unintentional, "No worries. Elder sister Mu Yen, you're too amazing. When Uncle Wu refines pills, I don't even feel like he's as relaxed, calm and composed as you." Yi Qinglu had a face filled with admiration. The Uncle Wu she spoke of was the red-haired old man who had questioned Lu Mu Yen just now, and also the chief enshrined grade 3 alchemist of the Yi clan. Come true. Chapter 139, Show Off Again, Eradicate Chronic Illness. Elder Wu had always been open-minded, so he agreed with Yi Qing less words. Little girl is indeed a good seedling for alchemy. Elder Wu revealed admiration in his eyes, then asked, "I heard that you already have a master." Lu Mu Yen nodded and admitted. "With such a talented disciple like you, your master must wake up with a smile from dreaming, right one?" Elder Wu joked. He secretly pitied that such a good seedling was dug up again by others and taken. When could he find a talented and satisfactory disciple himself? Lu Mu Yen smiled humbly. Elder Wu gives too much praise. Even she didn't know where her master was, so whether he'd wake up smiling from a dream or not was a real question. "Although I've never seen your grade 2 pill, but from the pill fragrance I smelled just now, it's indeed top quality. But it's still not enough to treat Elder Lu's chronic illness, right?" Elder Wu spoke the doubt in his heart. Lu Mu Yen took out a box made of thousand-year ice from her interspatial ring and said, "Indeed it's not enough. I also need to use the golden needles and coordinate it with the pill to cure Elder Lu's chronic illness." Then you can start. This old man won't hinder you anymore. There was a look of expectation on Elder Wu's face. Lu Muyen handed the white porcelain bottle to Elder Lu and said, Elder Lu, pour out one pill and take it, then push all the power of the medicine into the damaged and blocked meridians. All right. Elder Lu took the porcelain bottle, poured out a yellow pill and put it into his mouth without hesitation. When the power of the medicine was forcibly controlled by him to spread throughout the meridians in his entire body, he said, Done. Lu Muyen took out a special dark golden needle from the profound ice box and warned him, there may be some pain when I'm treating with the golden needles. If Elder Lu can't bear it, just say so. Young Miss Lu needs only to set your mind at ease to do what you need. As long as you can get rid of the chronic illness and I can cultivate again, I'll be willing to endure the pain no matter how painful it is. Elder Lu relaxed himself completely and said with a smile. In the past 10 years or so, every 3 months his illness would break out. He could even endure pain that made him rather die than live. Now that they were going to cure his illness, he wouldn't cower even more. Lu Muyen nodded with a smile, snapped her fingers, and a wisp of scarlet flame made from elemental energy condensation came out of her fingertip. She took the gold-colored needle and passed it over the flame before preparing to apply needles on Elder Lu. As soon as she took out the long golden needle from the profound icebox, everyone felt that there was a fluctuation of metal attribute elemental energy in the room. Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal. Mu Yi stared at the dark, golden needle in Lu Muyen's hand with wide eyes and couldn't help exclaiming. The others followed his voice and moved their eyes to the dark golden needle in Lu Muyen's hands. After a closer look, it turned out to indeed be the Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal. Then they scanned the profound icebox and there were actually more than 20 dark golden needles of varying lengths lying inside. With a look, it was obviously a set. This girl really was a prodigal. Where would one find anyone who wasted Heavenly Frost golden crystals like this? This was what everyone present thought. Yi Zhan looked deeply at the golden needle made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal in her hand. Then he remembered the Heavenly Frost golden crystal in his interspatial ring that had been frozen by an array and was difficult to crack, and also couldn't resist holding his forehead. This girl wasn't only a prodigal but was also a little fox. After she cured Elder Lu's chronic illness, he had to have a good discussion with her. Elder Wu looked at the Heavenly Frost golden crystal that had been refined into golden needles, feeling his flesh hurt. He could no longer describe his feelings. This girl was actually here to provoke people today, right? Lu Muyen actually didn't want to take out such cool golden needles, but using golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal was indeed more conducive to curing Elder Lu's chronic illness, so she could only be a bit high profile. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Did this girl snatch the Heavenly Frost golden crystal? Yichen asked Yi Zhan telepathically in astonishment. Yi Zhan smiled bitterly, no. That day, Monarch Ming snatched 3 pieces and Lan Si and I took a piece each. Although Lan Sis one was swapped back from me, but it must be for himself. The one in little Lu girl's hands must be from Monarch Ming. It seems that the relationship between her and Monarch Ming really isn't shallow. Could Monarch Ming be the respected master behind her? Yichen guessed that with Monarch Ming's status in the 9-layer hall, he shouldn't be too young. Plus it was said that Lu Muyen had a mysterious master yet had never revealed themselves before. But with the familiarity between the two, they probably had a master-disciple relationship. Yi Zhan pondered for a while, then telepathically said, that's hard to say, but if you can give the Heavenly Frost golden crystal to little Lu girl to be so prodigal with, then the relationship wouldn't be ordinary even if they're not a master-disciple relationship. Whenever they spoke of the Heavenly Frost golden crystal, Yichen felt his flesh hurt. This girl is too prodigal. The Heavenly Frost golden crystal was used by her to refine into golden needles for treatment just like this. If the other old fellows from the 10 distinguished clans knew, then wouldn't they be so furious? She's just that different from others. Otherwise Qing Han wouldn't have fallen for her. Yi Zhan's lips revealed a very faint smile. Yichen sighed. He also noticed his son's recent abnormalities. He was originally still a little opposed to him constantly thinking about a legendary trash from a small clan of Yanzhou Kingdom, but after seeing Lu Mu Yan today, he discovered that this sort of woman was indeed very attractive to people. She was full of spirit, was clever and bright, and had exceptional talent. The most important thing was that she wasn't humble nor haughty when doing things, not arrogant or impetuous, and carried a self-confidence and uninhibitedness. Among the younger generation of women in the eastern region, Lu Mu Yan was the girl with the best behavior and temperament. What trash, it seemed that those couldn't be trusted at all. The divination of the divine seer had never been wrong before, and this time, was also made fact on Lu Mu Yan. Seeing Lu Mu Yan this time had completely changed the impression Yi Chen painted of her before, and he decided not to object to the fact that his son liked her. Such a woman was indeed qualified to be the future mistress of his Yi clan. She started applying needles. Yi Zhan's gaze always followed Lu Mu Yan, elder brother, watch carefully. She has her own set of methods for performing the art of the golden needles. Hearing this, Yi Chen immediately looked towards Lu Mu Yan and found that each time she used the golden needle, it was like forming an array, like forming seals in mid-air, drawing something, before piercing it into Elder Lu's body. He rubbed his chin and watched with some interest. Every time Lu Mu Yan applied needles, she'd collect spiritual energy that had been filtered in her green sea of fog onto the needle. She discovered that the filtered spiritual energy had the effect of repairing. The dark golden needles of various lengths seemed to come alive in her slender fingers. They constantly pierced into Elder Lu's body or pulled out and burned by the flame on her fingertip made by elemental energy condensation, then continued to be applied. Her movements were graceful, her face was so serious that others couldn't disturb her, and her forehead was gradually covered with a layer of fine sweat while her hands kept moving. Everyone quietly watched her apply the needles as if this wasn't a medical treatment, but a golden needle performance, exceptionally brilliant. Elder Lu gritted his teeth tightly. Not only did the prickling sensation all over his body not make him feel uncomfortable, but instead, he felt extremely excited. Those meridians that had once been blocked for more than 10 years were actually able to accommodate to the passing of the needle auras, and the feeling he once felt during the height of his power and splendor as a sword king was slowly returning. Elder Wu stared at her applying the needles without blinking and his eyes grew more and more shocked. This truly was a marvelous skill. On Shifeng's seemingly paralyzed face was a rare trace of astonishment. He stared, dumbfounded, at Lu Mu Yan applying the art of the golden needles, and attempted to remember every movement of hers. Finished. 2 hours later, Lu Mu Yan withdrew all the golden needles, revealing a satisfied smile on her gorgeous face. Come true, one a saying that means someone is so satisfied and happy about something even in his dreams. So her master must be exceptionally proud, happy, and satisfied. Chapter 140, Prepared to extort. Lu Mu Yan finished in one go and performed the art of the golden needles to an exceptionally high level. The treatment was much better than expected. Elder Lu's closed eyes opened instantly, and a gleam of sharp light flashed through his cloudy eyes. He moved the muscles and bones of his whole body and felt a trace of spiritual force spontaneously enter various meridians. It wasn't drained as fast as usual, and instead, sunk into the dantian along the meridians. The meridians previously injured by sword auras were all dredged, and even the years of internal injuries and hidden illnesses were healed by Lu Mu Yan. The spiritual force in the dantian gathered around bit by bit, and he once again felt an abundance of elemental energy throughout his entire body. He was so excited tears almost rose in his eyes. Young Miss Lu, a mere thank you is an insufficient response to such a huge favor. If one day this old man can be of use to you, then please don't hesitate to give orders. Elder Lu cupped his hands at Lu Mu Yan with gratitude. Elder Wu immediately got up and took Elder Lu's hand to feel the pulse while using his mental energy to inspect his meridians. His eyes were filled with shock. Is this art of the golden needles a legendary divine skill? Lu Mu Yan smiled without answering. She learnt this art of the golden needles from a genius doctor when she turned into a mortal in the mortal world. Later, she found a method that could naturally combine with the application of the needles in the heavenly grade alchemist's place of inheritance. That's why whether it was healing mortals or healing cultivators, its effects were all the same. If one wanted to call it a divine skill, then it wasn't as if they couldn't. She had always been very fortunate that she could obtain the inheritance of this art of the golden needles. Shifeng pressed his lips together and couldn't help but stand up and take Elder Lu's other hand to investigate. The shock in his heart was no less than Elder Wu. "Young Miss Lu, this one is truly impressed by your art of the golden needles that you performed." Shifeng praised from the bottom of his heart. His original treatment method was far more dangerous than Lu Muyan's, and it didn't even heal at this speed or effect. This kind of golden needles art was something that could even convince the ancestors of the Shi clan if they came to observe. "You two have overpraised, everyone has their own strengths." Lu Muyan smiled modestly. Moreover, this time, the length of treatment could be so short, and the fact that recovery is much faster than expected, was all thanks to this set of golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystals. Elder Lu basically recovered after applying the golden needles, but that was in fact actually mainly because of the filtering effect of the green sea of fog in her body, and also the credit of the ice bangle. Except that it wasn't good for her to reveal that, so she pushed all the credit onto the golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal. Of course, the Heavenly Frost golden crystal was basically a spiritual item birthed from heaven and earth. After swallowed by a demonic beast, it could even help them shape their yaofu and break through a bottleneck, so it also had miraculous effects when performing golden needle treatments. When Elder Wu and Shifeng heard this, they couldn't resist twitching the corners of their lips. She sure spoke lightly. A Heavenly Frost golden crystal was hard to find even in 1,000 years. When sword masters obtained a small piece, didn't they all use it to refine magic tools? Who'd be so prodigal like this girl? "Little girl, is this the only set of golden needles made from Heavenly Frost golden crystal you have?" Elder Wu asked as he looked at the golden needles in the 1,000-year profound icebox with fiery eyes. Lu Muyan smiled calmly and said, "Yes. I got a small piece from Monarch Ming and used it all to refine this set of golden needles. If Elder Wu wants to forge some, then I could help." She paused, then blinked and added, "Senior Yizhan still has a piece of Heavenly Frost golden crystal." Yizhan looked at her without a good attitude. This little fox. The Heavenly Frost golden crystal in his hands had greater use. How could he be such a prodigal like her? Elder Wu glanced at Yizhan and dispelled the thoughts in his heart. Such a spiritual item could only be encountered by chance, so he didn't force it. This old man was just joking. Elder Wu smiled shyly. "Elder Yi, don't you have 2 Heavenly Frost golden crystals in your hand? Can you possibly cut your love and give me a small piece? Our Shi clan will definitely give you a rich gift of thanks." Shifeng was a medical madman. Aside from alchemy, he also liked to study medical skills. This time, seeing Lu Muyan using the golden needles to heal the illness, his heart also itched to give it a try. Mu Yi's eyes moved, and he clasped his fists to Yizhan and said, "Senior Yi, our Mu clan is also willing to spend a high price in exchange for a small piece of Heavenly Frost golden crystal." Yizhan smiled helplessly. "Even though I did obtain 2 pieces of Heavenly Frost golden crystal, but after exiting the glacial mountain range, Lan Si swapped that piece back. The remaining one is of great use to me, so you two can only think of other ways. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site." Thanks. When the two heard him say this, their eyes revealed disappointment. They came to visit the Yi clan this time, 1, for the things regarding the continental tournament for hegemony, and 2, to inquire about Yizhan's attitude, seeing if he could cut his love and give a small piece. But now it seems there's no show. "Lu girl, you have a deep relationship with Monarch Ming, perhaps you have more Heavenly Frost golden crystals." Yizhan turned the conversation on its head and threw the topic to Lu Muyan again. Mu Yi and Shifeng's disappointed eyes lit up and they looked at Lu Muyan one after the other. "No more. It wasn't easy for me to get some Heavenly Frost golden crystal from him to refine this set of golden needles already. He's so stingy that he won't even give me any more," she complained with a look of innocence and loveliness. She secretly said in her head, "Ming Xiu, I'll just borrow your reputation to use a bit." Her attitude made everyone present think deeply. With such an intimate tone, the relationship between Lu Mu Yan and monarch Ming must indeed be extraordinary. Originally, their attitude towards Lu Mu Yan was more of recognition. Now, because she had exposed her ability and monarch Ming behind her, it also made the Yi clan's seniors, Shi Feng and Mu Yi, feel the desire to befriend her. That's truly a pity. Mu Yi pulled out a smile with a little disappointment in his voice. But those things indeed couldn't be forced. Mu Yan must be tired, do you want to go rest first? Yi Qinghan saw Lu Mu Yan reveal slight weariness, so he piped up and said with a considerate smile. Lu Mu Yan nodded, it really takes some effort to perform this art of the golden needles. Elder sister Mu Yan, you can follow me to my courtyard to rest. Yi Qinglu stood up and walked to Lu Mu Yan's side, hugging her arms affectionately. These old guys sure weren't ashamed of having ideas for Lu Mu Yan one by one. Yi Chen and Yi Zhan glanced at each other and said with a smile, little Lu girl indeed worked hard today. Go down and have a good night's rest first. Tomorrow, let Qing Han and Qing Lu take you and the third prince to Luoxi city for a tour. Sure, then Mu Yan will bother you. Lu Mu Yan replied politely with a smile. After returning to Yi Qingle's courtyard with her, Lu Mu Yan said that she was tired and went back to the room to rest first. When she returned to the room, she took out some spiritual tea to brew, poured 2 cups, and picked up a cup to taste first, obviously waiting for someone. Sure enough, it didn't take long before there were a few very small knocks on the door. Senior Yi, please come in. She whispered. When she and Yi Qinglu left, Yi Zhan had telepathically told her that he had something to discuss that night, that's why she prepared herself and waited for him to come. She also naturally knew what he wanted. Yi Zhan pushed open the door, then closed it again after entering. He walked to the place opposite Lu Mu Yan and sat down. He first took a sip of the spiritual tea in front of him, then placed it down and said with a smile, little girl really has very good tea-making skills. But it's a pity that the quality of this spiritual tea is too poor. Lu Mu Yan chuckled slyly, can't be helped, I'm too poor, can't afford to drink high-quality tea, how about Senior Yi aid me a bit financially? The last time she met Ming Xiu, she forgot to ask for high-level spiritual tea. Since Yi Zhan took the initiative to deliver himself to her door, then she'd feel too sorry for her own appetite that she had raised to be picky if she didn't extort some. Yi Zhan looked at her amusedly and couldn't help but curse inwardly, little fox. Translated product by May R. Come True. Chapter 141, Bet on Me. Lu Mu Yan's eyes narrowed into a crescent shape, and she displayed a rare look of a young cunning girl. Yi Zhan also knew that he would definitely be extorted of something by this little fox, so he took out 2 cans of high-quality spiritual tea he had collected from his interspatial ring. These are 2 of the best spiritual teas in the eastern region. Consider it as a meeting gift for you, little girl. Lu Mu Yan's bright eyes gained a radiance. She picked up a can of tea and opened the lid. A strong, fragrant scent flowed out, making one feel refreshed. The other can were spiritual tea's tea tips. The process of picking and frying was exceptionally complicated and was even more precious. She put away the 2 cans of tea with a smile, Senior Yi is really generous, then Mu Yan won't be polite. Yi Zhan's eyelids twitched, you can still be polite? I wonder what Senior is here to find me for. Lu Mu Yan asked lightly and took a sip of her spiritual tea. You can call me Uncle Yi from now on. Yi Zhan also didn't dislike it and took a sip of tea as she did, then said leisurely, you don't know why I'm looking for you? Little girl, the freezing array on the heavenly frost golden crystal is your doing, right? Changing from Senior to Uncle Yi was also to express that he regarded Lu Mu Yan as important. Lu Mu Yan wasn't quarrelsome either, Uncle Yi, you should be able to crack that array, right? Yi Zhan was an unfathomable person. Although he was only at Sword Sovereign cultivation base, but he instinctively made her feel a mysterious aura. She believed that this person would be able to crack her array as long as he took some time. Indeed, I can crack it. But it takes too much time. Since you're here in the Yi clan, then why should I do such useless work? His time was very precious. Lu Mu Yen played with the teacup in her hand, her eyes deep, then said after a while, "Can I ask Uncle Yi a matter about the Shui clan of the 10 distinguished clans?" "Ask." Yi Zhan knew that Lu Mu Yen valued the Ling clan a lot, and he didn't like the Shui clan's ungrateful style of doing things either, so it didn't hurt to sell a personal favor to this little fox. The Shui clan really only has 2 sword sovereign powerhouses. Aside from working with the Xian clan privately, which other clans do they have close contact with? Ever since Lu Mu Yen saw the Shui clan's sword sovereign and Shui Ling in the glacial mountain range, she had always felt that their appearance wasn't truthful. Yi Zhan raised his head to face Lu Mu Yen and smiled lightly. "You, girl, sure observes carefully and considers things deeply. The Shui clan indeed has more than 2 sword sovereign powerhouses. The Shui clan's ancestor is actually someone else, and this person is already at peak phase sword sovereign cultivation base. He's currently in life or death seclusion in order to break through to sword venerable. I secretly received news that another pupil of the Shui clan broke through to sword sovereign, but they had hidden it and not announced it, so there are now 4 sword sovereigns in their clan. Their overall strength is actually only second after the top 3 distinguished clans. As for the other distinguished clans that the Shui clan has close contact with, I only know that there's also the Lu clan that's ranked 7th. Before, when the others were targeting the Ling clan, however, the Lu clan didn't participate." Yi Zhan also didn't conceal anything and told Lu Mu Yen everything that he knew. Lu Mu Yen furrowed her willow brows. It seemed that the Shui clan was indeed a thorny opponent. "Little girl, you better not focus on dealing with the Shui clan and Xian clan right now. The Ling clan isn't as weak as you think. Otherwise they'd long have been kicked out of the ranks of the 10 distinguished clans." Yi Zhan had a favorable opinion of Lu Mu Yen, this junior, so though he rarely reminded people, he did to her. Lu Mu Yan's lips raised into an arc, and she blinked as she asked, "Then where does Uncle Yi think my current focus should be placed?" Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, naturally it should be placed on the continental tournament for hegemony. Yi Zhan also knew that this little girl was a slippery head, so she must understand this principle. If you ranked in the top 100 and joined a sect, then are you still afraid you can't handle a little Shui clan? Uncle Yi, have you ever been to the other regions? Lu Mu Yen had actually always wanted to go to the other regions for a look. I've only been to the western region bordering the eastern region. I haven't been to the largest region on Tianling continent, the southern region, and the second-ranked northern region. Yi Zhan's eyes also revealed a look of yearning. Most of his previous time was spent on cultivation. Now that he had advanced to Sword Sovereign, he clearly felt that it was harder to break through the bottleneck, and it was much harder to improve his cultivation base. After he refined the Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal into a magic tool, he had decided to travel to the other 2 pieces of the continent and believed he had the ability to protect himself as well. I heard from the principal of Empire Academy that the eastern region is the weakest among the 4 major regions, and even the 10 distinguished clans can only be ranked as third-rate forces in the other regions. Lu Mu Yen was rarely able to find someone to inquire about the news of other regions, so she continued to ask. Yi Zhan nodded, indeed. The entire Tianling continent is very wide and there are countless hidden clans. They're basically distributed in the northern and southern regions. Even the 6 major sects are built in the northern and southern region. Our western and eastern region basically can't be compared to them at all. Then do you know the 9-layer hall? Ming Xiu's figure rose in Lu Mu Yan's mind, and she couldn't help asking again. Yi Zhan looked at her with a smile yet not quite a smile and said, "Little girl, your questions have surpassed one matter by too much." Lu Mu Yen secretly cursed Yi Zhan old fox, but she didn't express it, and said with a smile, "Then does Uncle Yi want something from me? Do you have a pill that can enhance the strength of a demonic beast?" Yi Zhan asked after some silence. Lu Mu Yan's eyes revealed faint surprise, then said, "I do." "Is it useful to demonic beasts of transformation stage?" Yi Zhan's eyes revealed rare fluctuations. "Uncle Yi, you think too highly of me, no?" Lu Mu Yen shrugged and said, "I'm just a grade 2 alchemist. If I can refine a pill that can improve the strength of a demonic beast at the transformation stage, then I'd have been directly poached by the 6 major sects long ago. Why do I still need to sit here? She really didn't have pills that could enhance the strength of transformation stage demonic beasts. She couldn't refine it either with her current cultivation base. Yizhan lowered his head and smiled. He was thinking too much. If Lu Mu Yen could really refine a pill that could improve the strength of transformation stage demonic beasts, then she'd probably be a monster. But, though I can't refine it now, it doesn't mean that I won't be able to refine it in the future. Lu Mu Yen revealed a confident brilliance between her brows and said with a smile, Uncle Yi might as well make a bet right now and bet on me. If I become a grade 4 alchemist in the future, it'll benefit you a lot. Yizhan chuckled, his eyes filled with pardoning. Since you have such confidence in yourself, then I might as well bet on you. Uncle Yi, you really have good eyesight. Don't worry, you won't lose. Lu Mu Yen revealed a joyful smile. Aside from that guy, Ming Xiu, this was the first time that she had such a pleasant conversation with a sword sovereign powerhouse. The nature of the method that Yizhan cultivated contained and pardoned everything. He was also charismatic himself, didn't put on airs, and had integrity. Such people were worthy to befriend. Of course, she didn't know that the pardoning and amiability wasn't the case in front of everyone. Ha! The clear and sweet male voice echoed in the room. Because Yizhan arranged a soundproof elemental energy cover, it didn't overflow out of the room. You, girl, is really interesting. Then can Uncle Yi talk about 9-layer hall now? Come true. Chapter 142, The Harvest. From questioning, Yizhan took a sip from his teacup and concealed the smile on his lips. The 9-layer hall is a mysterious force in the southern region. It rarely appears in public but is in existence even the 6 major sects don't dare to easily provoke. Lu Mu Yan's eyes were like ink as she continued to ask, is Monarch Ming the hall master of the 9-layer hall? Yes. The corner of Yizhan's lips raised. Monarch Ming has only started roaming around Tianling continent in the last 3 years. His identity is extremely secretive, and few people know it. Don't tell me that with the relationship between you and him, you still don't know these things? Yizhan was a little curious about just what sort of relationship it was between Lu Mu Yen and Monarch Ming. Lu Mu Yen smiled gracefully, Monarch Ming and I are just casual acquaintances. I had never inquired about the 9-layer hall from him, otherwise I wouldn't be asking Uncle Yi. Just being a casual acquaintance would make someone jump into the lava pool, disregarding their own life, to save you? Would gift you a piece of the heavenly frost golden crystal that will even be madly contested for by high-level powerhouses in the southern and northern regions? Little girl, who are you fooling? Yizhan raised an eyebrow. As if he'd believed the two of them were just casual acquaintances. He wouldn't happen to be the mysterious master behind you, would he? Then Yizhan asked tentatively. Lu Mu Yen remained slightly smiling, her eyes clear. Whatever you say is what it is then. Yizhan couldn't help but roll his eyes at Lu Mu Yen. This girl really was a sly fox. What did she mean by whatever he said was what it was then? It was obvious that she didn't want to reveal the relationship between them. I've answered all your questions, now it's your turn to do something right. Yizhan no longer dwelled on the topic. Everyone had their own secrets, so he didn't want to delve into it. Lu Mu Yen nodded in cooperation. Take out the heavenly frost golden crystal. Yizhan took out the heavenly frost golden crystal that was still wrapped in ice and handed it to Lu Mu Yen. Are you able to resolve it now? Of course I can. Lu Mu Yen promised. She wrapped her hands over the heavenly frost golden crystal, muttered a few obscure words, then beams of red light shone from the slits between her fingertips and instantly melted the ice on the heavenly frost golden crystal. Then a jade-colored rune belt circled the heavenly frost golden crystal, shining lightly, and fluctuating faintly with elemental energy. She pointed 2 fingers and muttered, scatter. The jade-colored rune belt appeared as if it had intelligence as it jumped from the heavenly frost golden crystal and sunk into her body instantly. Done. Lu Mu Yen handed the heavenly frost golden crystal, with its array broken, back to Yizhan. Yizhan played with the heavenly frost golden crystal in his hands and discovered that there was no trace of a raise on it at all. His evaluation of Lu Mu Yen was even higher now. This girl didn't only have exceeding talent in cultivation, and exceeding talent in alchemy, who knew that she'd even have such talent in arrays as well. Who knew how many people will be envious of her in the future? No wonder they said that people who had the terminal meridian's constitution were actually the real favored children of heaven. Fortune and misfortune were interdependent. Lu Mu Yan's talent after eradicating the terminal meridian's constitution could indeed be considered the best among prodigies. Even if placed among the talents of the younger generation in the two southern and northern regions, she wouldn't be outdone. Your talent in arrays is also very strong. You can already choose 3 among the 6 major sects. Yizhan's eyes revealed some praise. 3 among them? Why? Lu Mu Yen didn't know much about the 6 major sects. After all, Yanzhou Kingdom was only a medium-small kingdom in the eastern region and the information they knew was very limited. Cultivation talent, alchemy talent, array talent. 3 of the 6 major sects have the advantage in these 3 specialties. Yizhan hid some regret in his eyes. What I know about the 6 major sects is only superficial. After all, there were practically none who entered a sect after participating in the continental tournament for hegemony from our eastern region each time. Why is it that I heard that Xue Ling's talent was so good that she could enter a sect directly after the tournament for hegemony? Lu Mu Yen asked in confusion. Yizhan smiled disdainfully. It isn't like it's that difficult for the pupils of the main bloodline with some talent to enter a sect, but that's only an outer titular pupil. The possibility of becoming an outer core pupil or an inner pupil is basically 0. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, of course. There are also those exceptionally talented, tough-minded pupils who choose to be an outer titular pupil, then with their own efforts and by taking some appropriate opportunities, they may also soar into the sky. However, none of the superiors of the 10 distinguished clans are very supportive of this choice. Entering the sect like this is only just slightly good for the reputation. Yizhan thought a bit, then said, the Xue clan deliberately released this kind of news probably because they wanted to successfully put pressure on the Ling clan and annul the engagement. Xue Ling had always been a focus in the Xue clan to raise. Their goal must be to obtain a rank in the top 100 in the continental tournament for hegemony and not just to be an outer titular pupil. So that's how it is. Lu Mu Yan's lips curled coldly. Xue Ling wanted to be ranked in the top 100 in the continental tournament for hegemony. As long as she was here, then she'd definitely prevent this scourge that could endanger the Ling clan and Lu clan from entering into the top 100 and become an outer core pupil of a sect. Little girl, do you still have anything else to ask? Though, I only know the surface of things about the 6 major sects and the southern and northern regions. I believe that you'll come into contact with that broader world one day and you'll naturally come to understand it then. No more. I would like to thank Uncle Yi for resolving my confusions today. Lu Mu Yen smiled lightly and thanked. Although she only extorted 2 jars of high-level spiritual tea today, but it was also a great harvest to be able to gain so much information from Yizhan with her questioning. Yizhan's handsome and beautiful face revealed a soft, gentle smile. He stood up and said with a smile, today, you also spent a lot of energy on the treatment of Elder Lu. I won't bother your rest now. Uncle Yi, take care. Lu Mu Yen got up and saw him off. After Yizhan's figure disappeared into the night, Lu Mu Yen closed the door in thought. Early the next morning, Lu Mu Yen heard a knock on the door right after she just got up. She opened the door and saw that it was indeed Yi Qinglu and Mu Xia. Qinglu, Mu Xia, morning. Elder sister Mu Yen/Mu Yen, morning. The two walked into the room and greeted her at the same time. Elder sister Mu Yen, let's go to the famous Stream Reflection restaurant of Luoxi City for breakfast. Yi Qinglu smiled sweetly. Lu Mu Yen nodded and said with a smile, well, do whatever you have planned today. Luoxi City was even bigger than the imperial capital of Yanzhou Kingdom, and she also wanted to wander around casually. Then let's go. Elder brother, Mu Yi, and the others are already waiting in the front hall. Yi Qinglu smiled and pulled the two out of the yard quickly. Lu Mu Yan discovered that Yi Qinglu had a special excitement for going out. Qinglu, aren't you tired of roaming Luoxi City? How could I be tired of it? Yi Qinglu's eyes darkened. Then she smiled optimistically and cheerfully said, I actually only wandered around Luoxi City 3 times. I was detained at home by Daddy all year round because of my weak body. If it weren't that I took a medicinal pill to suppress the fetal poison before going to the glacial mountain range, and its effect hadn't yet faded, I wouldn't even be able to go out with you. At this time, Lu Mu Yan also remembered that Yi Qinglu was accompanied by the fetal poison all year round and usually didn't have much energy to wander around. She held Yi Qinglu's hand tightly, smiled and promised, Qinglu, I will definitely heal you. I believe in elder sister Mu Yan. Yi Qinglu smiled beautifully with trust and sincerity in her eyes. In fact, even if Lu Mu Yan couldn't cure her illness, she wouldn't blame her. She got close to Lu Mu Yan not for the purpose of curing her illness. It was simply all because of the fate of one glance. The first time they met, she simply just liked this woman who was only 1 year older than herself, and she always felt a kind of intimacy in her heart. She believed that this was just a kind of fate between them. Chapter 143, The Secret in the Belly of the Fish. Luoxi City was located in the core area with the most spiritual force in the eastern region. Even if one only walked on the streets, one could still feel the spiritual force that was more than 10 times denser than that of Yanzhou Kingdom. The group departed from the Yi clan and went for a short boat trip on the scenic central lake of Luoxi City first. In the central lake, a wide variety of fish or aquatic demonic beasts swam around, occasionally leaping up, then happily landing back down. This was the first time that Lu Mu Yan had seen this sort of scenery. She sat in the boat's cabin with great interest and watched the colorful fish swimming in the crystal clear water. Occasionally, a demonic beast would swim out from the bottom of the lake, either to go eat some fish or threaten the other fish for fun. The central lake in Luoxi City is very interesting, right? Mu Xia gently shook a celadone wine cup and said to Lu Mu Yan with a smile. Indeed, very interesting. Lu Mu Yan said with a light smile, thought a bit then asked, there are so many demonic beasts in the lake, aren't people afraid they'd hurt someone? These demonic beasts had long been tamed by the Yi clan, and they won't hurt people. Yi Qinglu replied. Lu Mu Yan's calm eyes fluctuated slightly. So it turned out that the Yi clan kept such a lake specifically for the clan's pupils to practice beast-taming skills. She wondered just who came up with such a method, it truly was ingenious. Owner, let me out, I can smell the scent of Jiangchuang Lin fish. The voice of Bing Ji sounded in her sea of consciousness. Lu Mu Yan held her forehead. That stinky bird really couldn't stay quiet wherever they went. But she also didn't want to restrain him for too long, so she released him from the spirit beast bangle. Everyone felt Lu Mu Yan's spirit beast bangle fluctuate slightly and an even-colored parrot fell on her shoulder. Little owner, 1 day apart is like passing 3 autumns. Bing Ji misses you to death. The moment Bing Ji came out, he used his head to rub Lu Mu Yan's shoulder, filled with flattering. Little owner was beautiful and fragrant, he would never go back into the spirit beast bangle again. Pu. Mu Yi couldn't resist spitting out some wine after he heard the flattery of the 7-colored parrot. Lu Mu Yan, this woman, really had everything. Lu Mu Yan couldn't help but twitch her lips. Couldn't this stinky bird be a bit more normal? Can you show off a little bit of the imposing manner of a tier 8 demonic beast? Bing Ji's body stiffened, then he said without a care, how can I show off the imposing manner of a tier 8 demonic beast when you guys suppressed my demonic energy? Besides, shouldn't one live life on this world freely and without restraint? Hearing the last sentence, Lu Mu Yan's eyes showed a rare look of approval. What this stinky bird said was also reasonable. Yi Qinglu looked at the 7-colored parrot curiously. Why did this ordinary-looking animal secretly exude a fearful pressure? Elder sister Mu Yan, your parrot is also a demonic beast. After Yi Qinglu's question, Yi Qinghan and the others looked up at Lu Mu Yan. Although they couldn't feel any demonic energy fluctuations from the 7-colored parrot, but they could still feel that he was extraordinary. He's a tier 6 demonic beast. Lu Mu Yen also didn't conceal it, otherwise when the day came that Bing Ji revealed his true form, he'd be exposed anyways, so it was better to be honest. Ah! Yi Qinglu looked at Bing Ji a few more times in disbelief. Can a 7-colored parrot also cultivate to tier 6? It's truly unheard of. Mu Yan's 7-colored parrot must be the transformation of some bird-type demonic beast, right? Yi Qinghan looked at Lu Mu Yen with a smile that wasn't quite a smile. Lu Mu Yen nodded, indeed that's how it is. Her calm expression and her excuse made everyone here admire her, and even envied her good luck. Of course, luck was also a part of strength. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, they all thought that Lu Mu Yan's master helped contract this tier 6 spirit pet for her, and it could only be justified in that way. Lu Mu Yan, this woman, wasn't only amazing in terms of her combat power, and very strong in her alchemy talents, she was also secretive in other aspects. Qinghan, my bird's craving the Jiangchuan Lin fish in this lake, do you mind doing me a favor? Lu Mu Yan asked Yi Qinghan with a smile. Yi Qinghan waved his hand without care, eat as much as you want, it's fine even if you eat all the fish in the lake. Go, but remember to take it easy. Lu Mu Yen turned her head and warned Bing Ji. Otherwise with this stinky bird's natural disposition, he'd definitely eat all the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake. Bing Ji pursed his lips, then flew out of the cabin and plunged into the lake, swimming here and there. Very soon, he swallowed one Jiangchuan Lin fish after another. This bird can also swim, how curious. Mu Xia stared at Bing Ji's figure swimming in the water and her eyes were filled with interest. Lu Mu Yen smiled. Could she say that he wasn't actually a normal bird, but instead a Cyan One divine beast's descendant? Is there a shop in Luoxi City that sells spiritual herbs and spars for smithing? She asked, changing the subject. Naturally there are, but high-level spiritual herbs and smithing spars are basically all sold at auctions or the headquarters of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance. If you want to buy, then we can accompany you to stroll around when we get off the boat. Yi Qinghan explained. Mu Yi pondered for a bit and asked, Mu Yen can also smith? Just scratching the surface of things. There's a smith at home, so I want to buy some materials to ask him to refine some magic tools for the juniors in the clan. Lu Mu Yen took a sip of wine. The taste was alright, but lacked spiritual force, and actually made her have the thought to brew spiritual wine. Hearing what she said, all of them felt relieved. If she could even smith, then it'd really be a blow to their pride as the favored children of heaven. It's a pity that you don't learn smithing with such a deep comprehension of the fire elemental energy law. In the future, learn more from the smith of your clan and maybe you'll become a master in smithing of the generation. Mu Yi said half-jokingly. Lu Mu Yen nodded and said, I do have that kind of thought, but I don't have the extravagant hope to become a master in smithing of the generation. Although she knew a lot of smithing methods, but she actually didn't have a thorough understanding of smithing, and she was also only equivalent to this world's grade 5 or 6 level. Compared with the real masters of smith clans, she was still inferior. The only thing she did aside from placing her energy on cultivation in her previous life was immersing herself in studying alchemy and arrays. She, herself, wasn't very interested in smithing, and if it weren't because she wanted to refine her natal magic tool, she wouldn't deliberately learn it either. And even though she had the advantage of having been a body fusion stage almighty in her previous life in the immortal cultivation world, as well as having countless resources in cultivation, but she wouldn't underestimate the sword masters of Tianling continent. She had always known the principle that there were mountains higher than another. As for smithing, she guessed that guy, Ming Xiu's, grade definitely wasn't low, and he probably actually had amazing talent. After Bing Ji had eaten up 2/3 of the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake, Lu Mu Yen immediately recalled him. I told you to take it easy, but you're about to eat up all the Jiangchuan Lin fish in the lake. Lu Mu Yen secretly rolled her eyes at Bing Ji, who still looked as if he was not yet satisfied. Little owner, it's because you haven't ever experienced the delicacy of the Jiangchuan Lin fish. This kind of fish isn't so simple. Bing Ji smacked his lips and telepathically said. How is it not simple? She also guessed that the Jiangchuan Lin fish must have an aspect that attracted Bing Ji. This kind of fish will produce a pearl-like blue bead in its belly which contains the essence of water, which is helpful for comprehending the water elemental energy law. Bing Ji didn't conceal it either and even said with some pride, the most important thing is that the wonderful effect of this essence of water isn't known to everyone, and I just happen to know this secret. There must be a special way to absorb the essence of water, right? Lu Mu Yan asked after a little pondering. Translated product by May R. Come True. Big customer. Even if one or two people couldn't discover the wonderful effect of the bead in the belly of the Jiangchuan Lin fish, it couldn't be that thousands, tens of thousands of people couldn't even discover it. She suspected that it was a talent of the Isawan race. That's of course. Bing Ji raised his beak proudly and his small eyes rolled around, but if owner wants to learn this special method, then I can teach it to you for free. Lu Mu Yan's eyes lit up. She could comprehend all the elemental laws of this world and had comprehended the fire elemental energy law the deepest, followed by the ice element. If she could comprehend the water element law more deeply, then that was even better. Can the blue beads in the Jiangchuan Lin fish be preserved? Lu Mu Yan telepathically asked. Naturally it's possible. But there's practically no one on this continent who knows the wondrous effects of the beads in the Jiangchuan Lin fish, so there shouldn't be anyone who would collect these water essences. Bing Ji said as he used his beak to comb his feathers. Lu Mu Yan's lips overflowed into an arc, then looked at Yi Qing Han and asked, a blue bead will appear in the abdomen of the Jiangchuan Lin fish, do you guys keep it? Although the blue beads contain some water elements, but they're of little use. The clan's warehouse seems to have collected a bunch for research purposes and hasn't been used up. Yi Qing Han thought a bit. If you want, I'll look for it after I go back and give it to you. Then many thanks. Lu Mu Yan stretched out her hand, gently flicked the head of the seven-colored parrot on her shoulder and said with a smile, this glutinous little thing just likes to eat that kind of blue bead the most. Bing Ji's eyes twitched. Little owner, right now it's obviously you who needs the essence of water, but you still blame it on me. Though the beads are useless, but they're delicious, so the more the better. But a divine beast is beneath the eaves of another, so he must bow his head one. Bing Ji could only cooperate with Lu Mu Yan and so he said. Yi Qing Han chuckled softly, no problem. The boat's docked, let's get off and wander around the city. Yi Qing Han saw that the boat had docked, so he said to the others with a smile. Sure. After entering the main street of Luoxi City, Lu Mu Yan discovered that this place was several times more prosperous than the imperial capital of Yanzhou Kingdom. Sword masters riding demonic beasts were everywhere on the streets, forming a special landscape. Are all the people living in Luoxi City Yi clan's people? Lu Mu Yan asked Yi Qing Han, who walked side by side with her. These sword masters would all respectfully greet Yi Qing Han. Most of them had demonic beasts by their sides, so they were probably all spirit beast masters. Not all. Luoxi City is a city under the jurisdiction of the Yi clan. Most of these people come from branches of the Yi clan, but there are also some who are outsider sword masters who settled here. Though, most of their identities are spirit beast masters. Yi Qing Han explained. Lu Mu Yan's eyes revealed understanding. No wonder the sword masters we encountered along the way basically all had demonic beasts as transportation. This really is worthy of being known as the city of spirit beast masters. Although there are many spirit beast masters in Luoxi City, but more than 9/10 remain as grade 1 or 2 spirit beast masters. Those grade 3 and higher are all in the Yi clan. Speaking of this, a smile and confidence rose on Yi Qing Han's handsome face. Then Qing Han's spirit beast master grade mustn't be low, right? Lu Mu Yan had a smile in her eyes. Yi Qing Lu smiled and said, elder brother is a grade 4 spirit beast master. Lu Mu Yan's beautiful eyes revealed some appreciation. Qing Han's talent is truly outstanding. Spirit beast masters, like alchemists and smiths, were divided into 9 grades. Grade 3 or lower could tame demonic beasts under Tier 4, while Grade 4 could tame demonic beasts at Tier 5. Under normal circumstances, based on the Sword Master's cultivation base, the Spirit Beast Master could only control demonic beasts at least a stage lower than themselves. For example, Yiqing Han, at Sword King cultivation base, could tame Tier 4 demonic beasts, and could only be a Grade 3 Spirit Beast Master at most. So now that he was a Grade 4 Spirit Beast Master, it belonged to a cross-stage contract, which also proved that his talent for taming beasts were excellent and powerful. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks being praised by Lu Mu Yan, the corners of Yiqing Han's lips unconsciously raised into an arc. Ahead of us is the largest pill shop of Luoxi City. The spiritual herbs inside are relatively complete. Let's go and take a look. Sure. Shi Feng's eyes also revealed some interest. Luoxi City had some special companion spiritual herbs too, which he was also very interested in. After walking for more than 30 meters, what one saw was a 3-story building with the 3 words 100 Herbs Hall written on an inscribed board in the middle. As soon as one entered the shop, 2 shop assistants immediately came up to greet them. "Young Lord, young Masters and young Misses, please come in." There were a few tables and chairs for guests to rest in the hall, all of which were filled with people. Inside, there were 2 rows of counters where the shopkeeper, who originally had his head lowered to do accounts, immediately raised his head, and greeted them with a smile after hearing the shop assistants. "Greetings, young lord, young masters and young misses. Shopkeeper, take out 2 copies of your spiritual herbs list and let us have a look." Yiqing Han said lightly. "Yes. Young lord, young masters and young misses, please follow me to the distinguished guest room on the 2nd floor." The shopkeeper respectfully led the several people to a private room on the 2nd floor. Within the private room, there were a few flowers and plants placed in there, and the layout was rather refreshing, giving people a fresh and natural feeling. As soon as they sat down, 2 maidservants came in with teapots and poured tea for them. An attendant in the shop obeyed the shopkeeper's instructions and came in with 2 jade slips. The shopkeeper immediately picked them up and handed it to Yiqing Han. "Young lord, this is the list of all the items sold in our shop. Please take a look." Yiqing Han handed the 2 jade slips to Lu Mu Yan and Shi Feng. "Take a look to see if there are any spiritual herbs you need to purchase." Lu Mu Yan took one and scanned it with her mental energy. The items on the market in the jade slip were divided into 3 categories. The first category was the pill area. This pill shop had more than 10 types of pills for sale, basically all grade 1 and 2 pills. In a deeper column, there was a type of grade 3 pill for sale, but it was limited, and only sold to distinguished guests. The second category was the spiritual herbs area. There were more than 100 types of spiritual herbs, and among them, there were more than a dozen species of companion spiritual herbs that could only grow on the Tamer Spirit Mountain near the Yi clan, and 5 types of spiritual herbs that were main ingredients to refine grade 3 pills, also only open to distinguished guests. The third category was a medicinal resource and auxiliary products area. There were some medicinal resources that were either required by mortal humans when they were ill, or were used to refine certain grade 1 pills that promoted blood circulation. There were also those that treated internal and external injuries, as well as some medical items to support refining pills and treating illnesses. Lu Mu Yan stayed in the spiritual herbs category for the longest time and memorized the spiritual herbs she wanted. Then she scanned the medicinal materials and auxiliary category, and when she saw the Jiangchuan Lin fish bead, she paused. She looked up at the shopkeeper and asked, "You have Jiangchuan Lin fish beads for sale? These beads can be used to refine pills." The shopkeeper saw that her temperament was extraordinary, had Sword King strength at such a young age, and was also a friend of young Lord Yi, so he replied respectfully with a smile, "The Jiangchuan Lin fish bead contains a trace of water elemental energy which can neutralize some pills' medicinal properties, making them milder and non-irritating to use, but it doesn't have much other use." Lu Mu Yan nodded and said calmly, "However many you have, I want them all." Surprise flashed past the shopkeeper's eyes. Although this Jiangchuan Lin fish bead can neutralize medicinal properties, but one didn't need to use much. Why did this young miss want so much? But he didn't dare ask more. After thinking about it, he reported a number. There are about 200 left. I want it all. Lu Mu Yen put down the jade slip, then told him all the spiritual herbs she wanted. However many of these spiritual herbs you have, I want that many. The smile on the shopkeeper's face couldn't be restrained. This young miss was really a big customer. Translated product by May Ar Come True 1. A play on the idiom when one is beneath the eaves of another, one must bow their head. Basically means that when a person isn't comparable to another in terms of status, strength, opportunity, etc., they must know to yield and be flexible. Two companion spiritual herbs are mentioned a lot in Xianxia novels. I'm pretty sure, I just don't know if it's translated the same. Basically spiritual herbs that grow alongside specific species of demonic beasts and such. The shopkeeper was smiling broadly. This was a big customer, they needed to serve her well. Mu Yen, why do you want so many spiritual herbs? Yi Qing Han was very surprised when he saw that she had asked for more than half of the 100 herbs hall's spiritual herbs. Even if this was to refine pills, she didn't need that much, right? Lu Mu Yen smiled, buying it just in case I need it unexpectedly. She wanted to form a private army in the Lu clan, so she naturally had to refine pills that could progress cultivation bases so that the 100 people could improve their strength. Although the spiritual herbs in this 100 herb hall weren't very high level, but many could be used, especially the more than a dozen types of demonic beast companion herbs which could be used to refine several useful grade 2 pills. Mu Yen, can you give me 1/3 of the dozen or so companion herbs? Shi Feng came to Luoxi City to buy some companion herbs to begin with and wasn't contending with Lu Mu Yen on purpose. He really just needed them. Sure. Lu Mu Yen smiled generously. Since she decided to befriend Shi Feng and Mu Yi, then she naturally wouldn't care about such an amount of spiritual herbs. There wasn't much expression on Shi Feng's face that appeared to have face paralysis, but there was a smile in his eyes. I can pay for your spiritual herbs today. Young Lord Shi really is generous. I'll trouble you again if I have a chance in the future. This time, I have just enough money with me. Lu Mu Yen declined gracefully. Shi Feng didn't force it either and nodded, all right. When the shopkeeper put the things Lu Mu Yen asked for in an interspatial bag and handed it to her to count, Bing Ji took the opportunity to inhale, and more than 30 or 40 water essences of the Jiangchuan Lin fish was sucked into his belly. Lu Mu Yen took a breath, resisting the urge to slap this fellow dead. It wasn't like she wasn't going to give it to him to eat. Did he need to be so impatient? People who didn't know might even think she abused her spirit pet Mu Yi, and the others were still wondering why Lu Mu Yen had to buy so many Jiangchuan Lin fish beads, but now that they saw the 7-colored parrots so impatiently devour them, they completely believed what she said before. If they also had a tier 6 spirit pet, let alone 200 beads, they'd be willing to buy even tens of thousands. After leaving the 100 herb hall, the several people went to the largest smith shop in Luoxi City. After reading the list of sale items, Lu Mu Yen quickly swept up the items she wanted as usual, making the people next to her feel that she was just too prodigal. But when they remembered how she luxuriously and crazily swallowed pills in the glacial mountain range, they felt that this was really nothing. This woman was just a prodigal lady. Wherever she went, she'd be prodigal there. In the future, whoever married her, could he even afford it? Then, Yi Qing Han took them to several other shops and Lu Mu Yen kept sweeping up their items continuously, making it so that the few people who had already calmed themselves couldn't resist but sigh again about her prodigal level. They really didn't know why she wanted to take back so many spiritual herbs and smithing spars. The question was, could she use it up herself? After practically sweeping out all the spiritual herbs and smithing spar shops, the several people went to the stream reflection restaurant Yi Qing Lu spoke of to have a meal. The speed of Lu Mu Yan's chopsticks was very fast, and she also ate quickly, but she didn't have the appearance of being crude and rash. On the contrary, she appeared rather elegant. After being used to seeing women who chewed carefully and swallowed slowly to appear gentle, and now seeing her so straightforward, she actually felt very pleasing to the eye. Elder sister Mu Yen, this is the most famous fresh fruit wine in the Stream Reflection restaurant. It's made from 3 kinds of spiritual fruits, hard to obtain even with thousands of gold. Have a taste. Lu picked up a transparent glass bottle on the table and poured a glass of wine for Lu Muyen. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Muyen picked up the wine glass and saw that the red liquid inside was clear and transparent with a hint of spiritual force. She took a sip, refreshing and cool, and there was even a sweet aftertaste in her mouth. Indeed, rather good. She used to brew spiritual wine when she was bored in the immortal cultivation world as well. Now this wine hooked out the cravings in her body. After collecting several ingredients to brew spiritual wine, she would also brew some and drink it often. Lu poured wine for her with a smile and a little regret on her face. I love to drink this kind of spiritual wine the most, but unfortunately Stream Reflection Restaurant limits the purchase and only sells 1 bottle a month. This bottle is one that I had to make a reservation for last month. The 3 spiritual fruits in this kind of spiritual wine are relatively rare, so it's very troublesome to brew. It's normal for them to restrict sales. Shifeng took a sip and said slowly. Lu Muyen saw how willing Lu was pouring the wine for her, but when it came to herself, she reluctantly took small sips after small sips, and said with a smile, if you like spiritual wine, wait until I find some ingredients to brew it. After I finish brewing, I'll get someone to send it to you, and I promise that it'll be even sweeter and more delicious than this fresh spirit wine. Muyen, you also know how to brew spiritual wine? Han was dumbfounded. Spiritual wine on Tianling continent was even rarer than pills. An alchemist who could brew spiritual wine not only needed to be able to refine wine pills, but also needed to have talent in winemaking. More importantly, there was no recipe for brewing spiritual wine in the outside world. Even on the auctions of the Ming Chamber of Commerce Alliance, only one might appear every few decades. Seeing Han's dumbfounded expression, Lu Muyen asked in confusion with a smile, that's right. Is it weird to be able to brew spiritual wine? Which one of those old monsters back then in the immortal cultivation world couldn't brew spiritual wine? For many immortal cultivators, it wasn't that they didn't care about having good food, but it was because the things from the mortal world could no longer satisfy their appetites. Hearing her utter such things so calmly like the breeze and clouds, the several people here couldn't help but hold their foreheads. What did she mean by was it weird to be able to brew spiritual wine? It was already shocking, all right. Stream Reflection restaurants spread all over the big cities on the entire Tianling continent because of their different types of spiritual wines. They're sold in limited quantities and can't meet the demands, making many old fellows craving it so badly they'd often come to exchange their good things for it, yet they may not even able to exchange a bottle. Han saw Lu Muyen's eyes revealing befuddlement, so used the Stream Reflection restaurant as an example to illustrate the rareness and preciousness of spiritual wine. It was only then that Lu Muyen realized why they would look at her with such "you're not normal" eyes. I didn't know the value of spiritual wine. When my master left, he casually tossed 2 wine recipes to me, that's why I thought a lot of people could brew spiritual wine. Lu Muyen's brain turned and blamed everything onto the head of that fabricated master. Only then did everyone reveal an understanding, and they even secretly found some excuses for her in their minds. Lu Muyen was too young, and in Yanzhou Kingdom, that sort of medium-sized small kingdom, people weren't well informed. With a master that's so generous, it was excusable to not know this. Elder sister Muyen, you're so amazing. When you've brewed the spiritual wine, remember to send it to me. Lu smiled cheerfully, with innocence and loveliness. A smile overflowed from the corners of Han's lips. Don't forget me as well then. Muyen, I'll order a few bottles now. Ha! They all have it, then Muyen, you can't forget us. Muyi's handsome face displayed a somewhat sincere smile and took Lu Muyen into his sphere of friends. Shifeng nodded as well, you also can't forget mine. Spiritual wine couldn't only satisfy one's desire for good food, but most importantly, it could also improve one's cultivation base, which was beneficial in removing impurities from the body after cultivating. That's why the sword masters of Tianling continent were very keen, but only very few people could afford it. No problem. Lu Muyen said with a chuckle when she saw them reveal such rare expressions. After they finished their meal, Yi Qinglu hugged Lu Mu Yan's arm and asked, "Elder sister Mu Yan, do you want to go to the spirit pet shop for a look? This is something unique to Luoxi City and many sword masters would come here after hearing its reputation." Chapter 146, Taming Contract Skill. The spirit pet shop Yi Qinglu spoke of made Lu Mu Yan slightly curious. The spirit pet shop specializes in selling contract demonic beasts? Lu Mu Yan asked with a certain tone. Yi Qinglu nodded. There's a grade 4 spirit beast master to oversee the spirit pet shop, and there are demonic beasts that have already been tamed for sale, or you can also catch a demonic beast yourself and pay a certain fee to ask the spirit beast masters in the store to help tame and contract. This spirit pet shop must be the Yi clan's property, right? Lu Mu Yan smiled softly with brilliant lights and vibrant colors in her eyes. Yi Qinglu opened her eyes wide and asked with surprise, "Elder sister Mu Yan, how did you know that the spirit pet shop is Yi clan's property?" Even Shifeng, Mu Yi, and the others turned their head to look at her. If they hadn't already known what the Yi clan's publicized properties were, even they wouldn't have guessed that the spirit pet shop belonged to the Yi clan. Lu Mu Yan blinked and said with a smile, "Qing Han told me." "Me?" Yi Qing Han was dazed. When? He didn't remember telling Lu Mu Yan that the spirit pet shop in Luoxi City was the Yi clan's property. "Didn't you tell me before that the spirit beast masters above grade 3 in Luoxi City all belong to the Yi clan?" Just now Qinglu said that a grade 4 spirit beast master oversaw the spirit pet shop, then doesn't it indirectly prove that it's your Yi clan's property? Lu Mu Yan's gorgeous face swayed with a spirited and clever smile, making the surrounding men stare blankly in a daze. Yi Qing Han looked at her in amusement, and there was a pampering in his eyes that even he didn't know. "You little clever girl." Mu Yi and Yunlan also lowered their heads, smiling. Lu Mu Yan was indeed very intelligent. Being able to think of these from casual conversations, one could see that she indeed had a clear heart and refined nature. The few chattered and laughed along the way, and when they walked past 2 streets, they saw a spacious shop where many people entered and exited with demonic beasts beside them. Entering the shop, a sharp-eyed attendant ran to call the shopkeeper as soon as he saw the few people enter. The shopkeeper then greeted them with a smile on his face upon hearing the news. "Young Lord, young Mississippi." The shopkeeper respectfully greeted with formalities, then turned and smiled at Lu Mu Yan and the others, greeting, "Young sirs, young misses, please come inside." "How's business today?" Yi Qing Han asked casually. The shopkeeper replied, "Today, business is a bit lighter, about 1/10 less than usual." Yi Qing Han randomly scanned the shop, then ordered, "Take us to the 3rd floor for a look." The 1st and 2nd floors were filled with low-level demonic beasts, nothing to look at, while the 3rd floor was the treasure area. Hiss hiss. Lu Mu Yan was about to step upstairs when she discovered that Miao Miao, who had been wrapped around her wrist, suddenly slithered out, hissing excitedly at a corner of the 1st floor, conveying a kind of desire to her. "You all go up first, I'll take a look before going." Lu Mu Yan had no choice but to stop in her steps and say to the few people who had already started to go upstairs. Yi Qing Han and the others didn't know what she was going to do, but they all stopped in their steps. "No worries, we'll accompany you." Lu Mu Yan also knew that they wouldn't go up first, nodded, then walked in the direction where Miao Miao flicked its tongue at. When she approached, she saw dozens of gray mice in a cage in the corner. Judging from their aura, she could tell that they were Tier 2 demonic beasts. She had seen them on the continent's demonic beast record. Desolate land rat, mostly Tier 1 to 3 with no special talents of their race. Their meat was fresh and tender, and the tender meat of their entire body contained some energy like elemental energy. They were mostly used for food, and frequent eating could progress cultivation bases. Of course, only sword masters under sword spirit could progress their cultivation base with eating desolate land rats, so its general price wasn't that expensive. "Miao Miao wants to eat." Lu Mu Yan gently rubbed the head of the little white snake with her finger. Hiss hiss. Miao Miao rubbed Lu Mu Yan's hand affectionately with her head, expressing a desire in her heart. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. Lu Mu Yan would naturally meet its desires. Shopkeeper, "Are these desolate land rats for sale?" Replying to young miss, "They are for sale." The shopkeeper replied with a smile. Originally, these desolate land rats were ordered by a sword master, but some time ago, he was killed by someone when he went out, so the order was also cancelled. Now that this friend of young lord's wanted it, of course he had to cater and sell. "Then I'll take it all and pay the bill together after we browse the place." Lu Mu Yan's prodigal behavior couldn't be stopped at all. The shopkeeper looked at Yi Ching Han with questioning eyes. Store it all in a spirit beast bangle and charge the cost to my account." This was Yi clan's property. Yi Ching Han definitely wouldn't collect Lu Mu Yan's money. "Ching Han, I'd be embarrassed if you're this generous." Lu Mu Yan smiled brightly, eyebrows curved. Yi Ching Han couldn't resist stretching out his hand and flick her forehead gently, saying with a smile, "I still don't know how to repay you for treating Elder Lu and Qing Lu. This little matter, it's not worth mentioning." Then he also found that his actions were too intimate, and he immediately put his hand down and coughed dryly. "Let's go upstairs." Mu Yi and Shifeng both noticed Yi Ching Han's movements and expressions, and they both grew thoughtful. Yi Ching Lu secretly smiled. She had always known that elder brother had a favorable impression of Lu Mu Yan, but now it had probably upgraded to like. She was also happy to have Lu Mu Yan as her own sister-in-law in the future. Lu Mu Yan also didn't expect that Yi Ching Han, who was usually serious and a little cold, would act in such a way. Seeing that he quickly withdrew his hand and changed the subject, she also didn't lay it bare and cooperated in going upstairs. On the third floor, they could no longer see cages of demonic beasts, only more than a dozen spirit beast bangles on the counter. Each spirit beast bangle was protected by an elemental energy cover, and if one didn't have the special activation method, it couldn't be taken out. There was a jade slip outside each elemental energy light shield, which was used to introduce the situation of the demonic beasts in the spirit beast bangle. There was a middle-aged man sitting in the middle of the lobby on the third floor as well. Although his appearance was ordinary, but he had a gentle temperament, and one that made others unable to resist getting close to. Currently, he was helping contract a demonic beast that was captured by a sword master. Lu Mu Yan found a place to sit down and watched with great interest. Behind the man was a complex array. The moment the Tier 4 mystic pattern leopard was thrown into the array, it was bound by a few yellow light beams. The middle-aged man muttered a spell as his fingers kept drawing a talisman in the air in front of the mystic pattern leopard with elemental energy. Then gradually, an elemental energy array with a void spiritual seal formed. "Drip a drop of your blood essence on its forehead." The man turned his head and said to the client. His voice was temperate and warm like a spring breeze. The man immediately cut his fingertip and dripped a drop of blood on the head of the mystic pattern leopard. The middle-aged man hurriedly inserted that taming spiritual seal into the mystic patterned leopard's body and used his mental energy to control it to envelop the yaofu of the mystic patterned leopard and form a contract. "Contract." He said a word gently, and a soft white light instantly enveloped the client and the mystic patterned leopard. After the white light passed, the mystic patterned leopard that was originally struggling and glaring fiercely now sat obediently by the client's side. There was a sliver of connection between the one human one beast that Lu Mu Yan could feel. The middle-aged man walked to the basin of water on the table by the window and washed his hands before walking to the several people with a gentle smile. "Young lord, young miss. Great Master 1. Yi Ching Han and Yi Ching Lu greeted him very politely. Lu Mu Yan's lips curled into a ruminating arc. This was the first time she had seen this type of skill of taming and contracting demonic beasts. It was indeed really interesting. Great Master 1, who was temperate and full of warm colors, was definitely not an ordinary person either. Come true. Chapter 147, This woman just wasn't a normal person. After greeting each other, Great Master 1 smiled kindly at Lu Mu Yan and the others, then walked back to the center to help the next client contract their spirit pet. In the same way, Lu Mu Yan discovered that every time Great Master 1 threw the demonic beast into the soul-locking array, the demonic beast would be bound by yellow light beams emitted from the array, the demonic soul energy weakened, and it would be easier to form a contract with. After the three queued clients finished their contracts and left, Great Master Wen said to Yi Qing Han leisurely, "Young Lord is here for what purpose today?" "I've brought a few friends over to take a look." "Great Master Wen, has the clan sent any Tier 5 demonic beasts for contracting and sale?" Yi Qing Han asked with a faint smile. This Great Master Wen was a guest elder of the Yi clan who volunteered to oversee the spirit pet shop. Hearing this, Great Master Wen pointed to the very top of the counter and said, "There are 3 Tier 5 demonic beasts for sale, young lord can take a look." Yi Qing Han nodded, walked over, and picked up 3 jade slips for a look, then asked Lu Mu Yen and the others, "Do you all want to take a look?" Lu Mu Yen already contracted 3 spirit pets and each one was of extraordinary origin. She had no interest in a spirit pet at Sword King strength. "I don't need to." Mu Yi once contracted a mutated peak phase Tier 5 snow monkey beast, so he shook his head and said, "I don't need to as well." Shi Feng and Mu Xia was interested and took a jade slip to take a look. Even Yunlan couldn't help picking one up to look at. On Tianling continent, a sword master who wasn't a spirit beast master could only contract 2 spirit pets with the help of a spirit beast master. Even those above sword venerable were no exception. For spirit beast masters, depending on one's mental energy and contract level, a grade 10 spirit beast master could contract 10 spirit pets at most, which was also the limit. Lu Mu Yan's ancient contract skill was different, however. As long as one's mental energy could support it, there was no upper limit in contracting. "Qing Han, how do you sell this Tier 5 contract demonic beast?" Yunlan put down a jade slip and asked with some desire. He came to Luoxi City this time, bringing enough purple gold coins, just to buy a contract demonic beast. He originally thought it would be good enough to buy a Tier 4 demonic beast and return to raise it slowly, but he didn't expect to encounter Tier 5 demonic beasts for sale. Yi Qing Han didn't manage his clan's affairs, so he turned his head and asked Great Master Wen, "Great Master Wen, what's the price of these 3 Tier 5 demonic beasts?" "They are all my best friends. How about giving a clan discount?" Although he's the young lord, but he didn't have the right to arbitrarily take from the clan's property without paying the bills. To be more precise, everyone, including the patriarch and the elders, didn't have the privilege. These 3 demonic beasts are the most significant products of our store, and they're only sold to specific distinguished guests. However, since the young lord's best friends want it, then I could accommodate somewhat. The original price is 6 million purple gold coins for one. My authority can only drop it by 1 million, so if the 2 sirs and young miss wants to buy it, then they require 5 million purple gold coins. Great Master Wen's words weren't hurried nor slow, making it feel as if one was bathing in a warm breeze, exceptionally comfortable. Only when Lu Mu Yen heard the tongue-tying price, did she lift her head and scan the 3 white light covers. This was a little too fraudulent. It was actually that expensive. No wonder the 3 professions that make the most money on Tianling continent were alchemists, smiths, and spirit beast masters. Of course, the most expensive jobs were the first 2 professions. After all, in order to advance, it took countless spiritual herbs and spars to start refining from a low grade. While the most dangerous profession was spirit beast master. It was risky to catch demonic beasts, and while contracting, if a demonic beast's soul energy was too strong, they could also receive backlash. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. She stroked her chin and her eyes shone brightly. If she had no money in the future, she'd just go to the blazing and glacial mountain ranges where high-level demonic beasts roam to catch a few to contract then sell. After Yunlan heard the price, he unconsciously furrowed his brows slightly. He knew that 5 million purple gold coins was indeed a discount, but it still surpassed his estimated amount by a lot. After all, he brought purple gold coins originally to buy Tier 4 demonic beasts. He just so happened to have exactly 5 million purple gold coins on him, which was given to him before he left, specifically prepared by the imperial family for him to use to improve his strength before the continental tournament for hegemony. That's why he hesitated between buying or not buying. Mu Xia only had around 2 million purple gold coins. Although she was from the main bloodline of the clan, but she wasn't the most valued genius, so she could only regretfully put the jade slip in her hand down. Shi Feng was the young lord of the Shi clan, and also an alchemist. He wasn't short of money at all, and the demonic beast introduced on the jade slip just so happened to have the same elemental energy attribute as him, so he didn't hesitate to take out a crystal card to transfer the money. Seeing Yun Lan hesitate, Lu Mu Yen said, "Elder cousin brother, 5 million purple gold coins is too expensive, don't buy it." Little girl, 5 million purple gold coins is already considered the best price even on the entire continent. If it were at an auction, a tier 5 demonic beast that could be contracted might require at least 7 or 8 million purple gold coins to buy. Great Master Wen said as he looked at Lu Mu Yen with a gentle smile. What I mean by expensive isn't that the price you're selling it at is expensive, but that it's not a good deal. Lu Mu Yen explained. Not a good deal. A tier 5 demonic beast is equivalent to the strength of a sword king. Most importantly, it's a life-saving trump card. Moreover, in the eastern region, a spirit beast master tier 4 and above is simply too rare. Sometimes even if you had purple gold coins, you may not be able to buy a tier 5 demonic pet. Mu Yi smiled and looked at her, teasing, "Mu Yen, aren't you a prodigal? Even you have times where you think something's not a good deal." Lu Mu Yen rolled her eyes and said without a good temper, "Do I look like I'm a foolish spender? It's not a good deal to begin with. I can go contract one myself, why waste that money? You can contract one yourself. Don't say you can contract a tier 5 demonic beast." Mu Yi's eyes widened, an expression filled with disbelief. Lu Mu Yen poked the 7-colored parrot on her shoulder and said, "Although this tier 6 demonic beast was caught and suppressed by someone else for me, but I contracted it myself." "What? You can contract a tier 6 demonic beast?" Everyone present was surprised. Really? Their little heart really couldn't take it. Lu Mu Yan's recent expenses were simply too huge, and she was simply too lacking in the money required to raise a powerful private army for the Lu clan. She had a plan in her heart, so she decided to reveal a trump card herself. "I can contract a tier 6 demonic beast, but I also need it to willingly contract me," Lu Mu Yen said lightly. The several people breathed a sigh of relief. So that's how it was. In fact, as long as the demonic beast was willing, even a grade 2 spirit beast master could contract a tier 5 demonic beast. But which demonic beast would be that stupid to willingly subdue to a human much weaker than themselves? Lu Mu Yan's tier 6 demonic beast willingly contracted her probably because it was forcefully suppressed by her mysterious master. But then her next sentence completely broke their illusion. "But as long as their strength is inferior to me, I can contract any, so I can also contract a tier 5 demonic beast." Lu Mu Yen appeared a little tsundere. "If elder cousin brother wants to contract a tier 5 spirit pet, then don't bother buying it, just leave it to me. By the way, Qing Han, does your store also accept tier 5 demonic beasts already imprinted with a contract seal?" Lu Mu Yen blinked her eyes and said, a little embarrassed, "I'm short of money recently. If I can, then I'll go catch a few tier 5 demonic beasts these few days and sell it to your Yi clan's spirit pet shop." The people present couldn't help but twitch their lips and looked up at the sky speechlessly with all kinds of jealousy, envy, and hatred in their eyes. Lu Mu Yen gave a deep blow to their initially rather strong hearts. This woman just wasn't a normal person. This kind of talent was comparable to a monster. Comparing one to another definitely could infuriate oneself to death. Come true. Chapter 148, Want to make extra money? Lu Mu Yan's words dealt a heavy blow to the favored children of heaven, but they didn't have any jealousy. "Mu Yan, then does that mean you're also a spirit beast master?" Yi Qing Han smiled, but there was some complexity floating at the bottom of his eyes. His final advantage in front of Lu Mu Yen also changed, but Head tried to keep up with her steps. Lu Mu Yen nodded with a smile, "I guess I am." It was just that her contract skill was different from those of this continent. "Elder sister Mu Yen, you're really so amazing." Yi Qinglu couldn't help but give Lu Mu Yen a thumbs up and the worship in her eyes grew even stronger. The skill of taming beasts was also taught to me by my master. Either way, whenever something was out of the ordinary, Lu Mu Yen now pushed it all onto that fabricated master. Wen Liang looked at Lu Mu Yen thoughtfully, then said with a hint of curiosity, "Who might your master be, little girl?" Master had never told me his name, but he called himself Old Man Tian Xian 1. Lu Mu Yen replied with a calm smile. This name wasn't actually made up randomly. When she entered the sect in her previous life, her respected master was indeed Old Man Tian Xian. But she didn't know if there was such a character on Tianling continent, though there shouldn't be such a coincidence. Wen Liang's pupils constricted slightly when he heard Old Man Tian Xian, but quickly restrained himself and others didn't catch his expression. Great Master Wen, do you accept contract demonic beasts here? Lu Mu Yen saw Wen Liang not talking, so she guessed that he had never heard the name she spoke of, and she didn't want to continue the topic of her master either. Wen Liang was dazed for a moment, then immediately returned to his senses and smiled like a breeze, saying, "Of course we accept. If young Miss can catch a Tier 5 demonic beast and imprint a contract seal, then we will buy it for 5,800,000 purple gold coins from you." The Tier 5 contract demonic beasts sold in the Yi clan's spirit pet shop weren't open to just any sword master. Only those with certain backgrounds or conditions were eligible to buy them. The selling price was at 6 million purple gold coins, and the supply didn't meet the demands. If Lu Mu Yen could imprint a contract seal then sell it to the store, then they could still earn 200,000 purple gold coins without much effort, which was also pretty good. After all, the most difficult thing with Tier 5 demonic beasts was imprinting a contract seal. Once the contract seal was successfully imprinted into the demonic beast's yaofu, as long as a sword master dropped some blood essence between its brows, do a simple contract skill to complete the process themselves, then it'd be done. Then that's settled. Lu Mu Yen felt that the other party's conditions were quite good. If she went to sell it in other places, then they'd definitely cheat her of millions of purple gold coins. She wouldn't have the time and energy to take them to the auction either. This was good. Watching Lu Mu Yen talk about cooperating and transactions so lightly with Great Master Wen, those beside were completely defeated by her. She didn't look like she was joking at all with such behavior. If she didn't have the confidence, then she'd never take such a job. Younger cousin sister, then I won't need that contract demonic beast? Yun Lan asked Lu Mu Yen's opinion, holding the jade slip in his hand. Lu Mu Yen took the jade slip from his hand and swept it with her mental energy, then said with a little disgust, "Don't need it. What are you going to do with this type of initial phase Tier 5 demonic beast? Even if you want a contract, then we'll want one at advanced phase Tier 5 or peak phase strength. Lu Mu Yen, could you stop dealing blows to people?" Wen Liang's eyes were deep, and a smile appeared on his lips. "Little girl, if you can catch Tier 5 demonic beasts at middle phase, advanced phase, or peak phase, imprint a contract seal, then bring it here, the price will be even higher." "How much higher?" Lu Mu Yan's face revealed a bit of interest. "Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks, for every phase higher, 1 million will be added. If the demonic beast is at peak phase Tier 5, then it's directly 9 million purple gold coins." The expression on Wen Liang's face didn't change much. Lu Mu Yen thought for a bit, then said, "Good." Then she asked Great Master Wen and Yi Qing Han, "Are there any high-level demonic beasts nearby?" It would take about a month for Yi Qing less poison to be cured. Based on her previous cultivation base, she would have needed to apply needles once every day, but after advancing leaps and bounds, and also having the green sea of fog in her dantian, she only needed to apply needles once every 3 to 5 days. The rest of her time could be used to catch demonic beasts and sell them to earn some extra money. There's none nearby, but there's high-level demonic beasts in the Sunset Cloud Mountain range 3 days away from Luoxi City on a tailwind horse. Wen Liang said. Sunset Cloud Mountain Range? Is it very close to Feng Hill City? She had seen the introduction of Sunset Cloud Mountain Range on the map of Tianling continent. There were 3 places in that mountain range that were also listed as danger areas, but as long as they didn't cross over it, then there wouldn't be any danger. Sunset Cloud Mountain Range is the only path between Luoxi City and Fenghill City. Except for the 3 major dangerous border areas, most of the training for the pupils of the 10 distinguished clans are in the Sunset Cloud Mountain Range. There's also a road connecting the 2 cities. Yi Qing Han answered. Lu Mu Yan's eyes lit up. Fenghill City was the city where her maternal grandfather's Ling clan was located. She was originally planning to treat Yi Qinglu then go take a look at her elder cousin brother Ling Fei Yang's illness, but time might be a bit tight. But now it seemed that she could drop by the Ling clan to bring elder cousin brother to the Yi clan and receive treatment together with Yi Qinglu. By then, she'd save time and effort, and on the way, she could investigate any news about the Sunset Cloud Mountain Range. Those Tier 5 demonic beasts should all roam around the 3 major danger areas, right? Lu Mu Yan asked after pondering. With the fact that the young pupils of the 10 distinguished clans dared to complete their training in Sunset Cloud Mountain Range, aside from the 3 major danger areas, there probably wouldn't be any Tier 5 demonic beasts roaming elsewhere. Indeed, but you can encounter Tier 5 demonic beasts on the borders of the 3 major danger areas. If you want to go, never ever go deep. When Liang paused, then continued, I've heard that the innermost part of the 3 major danger areas even has a Tier 9 Beast King and numerous high-level demonic beasts everywhere. Without the strength of a sword sovereign or higher, you can't go deep. I'm only going to catch some Tier 5 demonic beasts, I won't go deep. By the way, does Great Master Wen know where there's a map of Sunset Cloud Mountain Range for sale? Lu Mu Yan asked. When Liang replied, the map of Sunset Cloud Mountain Range is sold in many places, but there are none of the 3 major danger areas. If you want to go, you'll have to explore it yourself. Alright. I've troubled Great Master Wen today. Lu Mu Yan wasn't disappointed either. It was better to have a map, but it didn't matter if she didn't. She was more eager to explore the unknown. With a gentle smile between Wen Liang's brows, he waved his hand, you're welcome. Then this one Wen will be here to await good news from you, little girl. Don't worry, I'll definitely do this business. Because the news that Lu Mu Yan was a spirit beast master was too shocking, the others also lost interest to continue to browse, so they went back to the Yi clan after casually strolling around Luoxi City. After resting for the night, Lu Mu Yan prepared to start treating Yi Qinglu the next day. Hearing the news, Shi Feng and the others immediately went to Yi Qinglu's courtyard and waited to watch her treatment. Even Yi Chen and Yi Zhan arrived one after the other. Yi Qinglu was the family's most treasured daughter. She had excellent talents and had a natural affinity for demonic beasts. As long as she was cured of the poison and her cultivation base kept up, it was very possible to raise her to become a Tier 5 spirit beast master or even higher. Therefore, she was very much valued by the clan. This time, with Lu Mu Yan curing Yi Qinglu, the Yi clan opened their warehouse to provide all the resources for her to use. Translated product by May Arcum. True. 1 Random fact, Tian Xian, is actually Ursae Majoris in the Big Dipper asterism, which is in the constellation Ursa Major, aka the Great Bear. Doesn't really matter for the story, I'm pretty sure, and probably just gives the master a mysterious feel. Chapter 149, Remove Poison. Lu Mu Yan had already refined the pill needed to help treat Yi Qinglu's poison on the first night when she was preparing the treatment. In the room, Yi Zhan and the others sat quietly in the distance watching her treatment. It wasn't that they didn't believe her, but they were curious, like Shi Feng. Lu Mu Yan first fed Yi Qinglu a special grade 2 antidote pill, then the two sat cross-legged on a white marble warm jade bed. After Yi Qinglu took the antidote pill, she ran 2 full cosmic orbits around her body, fully exerting the effects of the medicine. Lu Mu Yan had constantly been observing Yi Qinglu's absorption and refining situation with her mental energy. When the medicinal power of the pill began to work, she formed several Taoist seals in front of her. She slowly placed her hands on Yi Qinglu's back and slivers of spiritual energy flowed from her palm and entered into the other party's body. The green sea of fog in her dantian circulated round and round, and together with Lu Mu Yan's spiritual energy, transported into all the meridians in Yi Qinglu's body. Because the fetal poison was overbearing and extremely poisonous, Yi Qing's blood had been mixed with a lot of poison already, so the bright red blood had also turned dark red at this time, which was extremely abnormal. Lu Mu Yan wasn't hasty either. She washed the blood in her meridians over and over again with the spiritual energy that carried some green sea of fog until the dark red faded a little before moving the spiritual energy into her internal organs. Yi Qinglu gritted her teeth tightly, enduring waves of pain. Compared to the more than 10 years of pain and suffering, she could still bear this aching. Lu Mu Yan's forehead and nose were covered in a layer of dense sweat. Using spiritual energy in such a way to remove poison was very exhausting. About 4 hours later, Lu Mu Yan had washed all parts of Yi Qing's body with spiritual energy 3 times, and the poison had also diminished somewhat with the spiritual energy that carried some green fog. Pu. Yi Qinglu just felt pain in her abdomen, then she spurted out a mouthful of blood. After she spit it out, her entire body felt more relaxed, but was also very weak. Lu Mu Yan retracted the hands placed on her back and made a gesture of completion. Seeing her gesture of completion, Yi Qin immediately stood up and asked nervously, "Lu girl, how is it?" Lu Mu Yan supported Yi Qinglu and said, "She was poisoned too deeply, and this poison is extremely overbearing. Today I only cleaned up a small part of it for her. The black blood she spewed out just now was poison, so you don't need to worry. Everything is going smoothly." Hearing what she said, everyone in the room was relieved and looked down at the ground. Sure enough, they saw that the pool of black blood was bubbling and was very corrosive. Yi Qin clenched his hands tightly. If he hadn't taken that woman back to be a concubine back then, his most beloved wife wouldn't have died, her treasured daughter wouldn't have been poisoned in the fetus and wouldn't have had to endure that kind of inhuman torture since she was a child. Although he eliminated the woman's entire clan, but his pair of children still treated him with only respect and no love, always keeping an unbridgeable distance. He had felt so guilty as he watched his daughter grow up day by day, but the fact that she couldn't survive past 18 years old also made him suffer every day in regret. Now that Lu Mu Yan finally gave him some hope, no matter what, he had to grab onto it. His daughter was his lifeblood. He'd rather die than her. Lu Mu Yan didn't know the situation between the Yi clan's father and daughter, but she had always felt that Yi Qinghan and Yi Qinglu had a complicated relationship with their father, always deliberately keeping some distance. At this time, seeing Yi Chen's various complex expressions of contradictory pain and relief, she could only sigh. She calmed her mind and took out the golden needles made by Heavenly Frost golden crystal. A wisp of flame appeared from her fingertip, and she roasted the tip of the needles with fire, then inserted each one into Yi Qing's large acupoints respectively. Come and read on our website Wuxia World site. Thanks. There was also her spiritual energy entwined with green fog on the golden needles, which then penetrated into Yi Qing's body bit by bit and repelled the poison. After another 2 hours, Lu Mu Yan pulled out the golden needles and said to Yi Qinghan, "Qinghan, you take Qinglu back to your room. Let a maid wash her body after a quarter of an hour. After an hour, place her into a bathtub of medicinal liquid that I formulated and heat it up, making sure the water doesn't cool. When the green water turns clear, then lift her out of the bathtub." "All right." Yi Qinghan walked in front of the two of them and carried Yi Qinglu, who had already fainted, then said to Lu Mu Yan with care, "You also go back to your room and rest for the night." At this time, Lu Mu Yan's spiritual energy was seriously depleted, and the green sea of fog was also a little smaller. "All right." After greeting the people present, she went back to her room and poured out a few spiritual energy replenishing pills to take and recover. "This girl really is a genius in pharmacology," Elder Wu said in admiration. "Indeed. We wouldn't be able to learn her methods even if we watched. But it did help me realize something." Shifeng got up and walked to the pool of black blood that Yi Qinglu spat out, took out a porcelain bottle and collected some. "It's good to have realizations. The comprehension abilities of you young people sure are good." This old man could only see the surface of things even after watching for so long. Elder Wu had already passed the best age for comprehension, so he could only shake his head regretfully. The next day, after Yi Qinglu woke up, she felt that the poison that had been suppressing her and causing her incomparable discomfort had indeed been lightened a little, so she ran to tell her family in excitement. After eating breakfast, Lu Muyen recovered to her best condition and continued to help Yi Qinglu remove the poison like she did yesterday. This sort of treatment to remove poison required the use of spiritual energy to wash the blood and internal organs that had been contaminated by poison over and over again for the first 3 days. On the third day, the black blood that Yi Qinglu vomited was even deeper and thicker. During the treatment, she also didn't faint again, and she was much more spirited than the first time. Lu Muyen breathed a sigh of relief after completion. Although this fetal poison was domineering and had incubated for a rather long time, but the green sea of fog in her could actually restrain the poison, so after cleaning for 3 consecutive days, she would also be more relaxed. 3 days later, clear the poison and apply acupuncture. Qinglu must rest well. Lu Muyen retrieved the golden needles and instructed. After 3 days of rigorous detoxification, Yi Qinglu's face also became rosier. Elder sister Mu Yan must also rest well. The last 3 days must have tired you. She could see that it must be very mentally draining for Lu Muyen to treat her, and it was useless to say any more words of thanks. She would remember this life-saving grace in her heart. No problem. Lu Muyen smiled relaxedly. After the first 3 days of strong detoxification, the poison in Yi Qinglu's body had been removed by half already. As long as she devoured and refined the residual poison using spiritual energy in the remaining 20 or so days, then it'd be fine. Seeing that Yi Qinglu's complexion had improved and was even rosier than the pale complexion before the treatment, Yi Chen and Yi Qinghan were also relieved. They cooperated fully with Lu Muyen's treatment. Elder Wu and Shifeng kept their eyes on Lu Muyen when she removed the poison. They would always be amazed and realize something from it. Shifeng felt that he was very fortunate to have come to the Yi clan this time for the Heavenly Frost Golden Crystal and the Continental Tournament for Hegemony, and in turn, run into Lu Muyen. 3 days later, Lu Muyen cleared up some poison for Yi Qinglu again, then said to Yi Chen after the acupuncture, "Uncle Yi, my elder cousin brother is also suffering from an illness. Originally, I planned on going to the Ling clan to treat him after removing the poison for Qinglu, but the Continental Tournament for Hegemony is arriving very soon. I want to go to the Ling clan and bring him to the Yi clan to treat together. Do you think that's all right?" "That's fine." Yi Chen nodded with a smile. Then he paused and said, "It'll take, fastest, almost 3 days to get to Feng Hill City. Will you be able to come back on time for acupuncture? How about I send someone to pick him up?" Translated product by May Arkham. True note. Men and concubines. Enough said.